This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
What's going on, freaks? And thank you to Kubi and Miss Angels and this account before the show. Thank you. All right. I guess we're gonna have some crazy weather coming up here in Portland pretty soon. It's gonna be like ice on the ground, but do have studded snow tires, so that should help. No, how's everybody going or doing tonight? Can't see any. Is it moving? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, and did you do twice, Kubi? How come it says like? No, it's weird. It shows it like twice at the top of my screen. I think it's just once. I think. Really? I always roast Tosh? How's that? I don't remember doing that. What are the winters like? It snows sometimes. It's not, they're usually not horrible or anything, but there's always a storm, like a pretty bad storm that happens ever so often in there. You know, on my show, when I'm saying, "Hey, you guys, we got to get the super chats and everything," do you guys consider that e-begging? Like, I don't need money, you guys. Like, I'm trying to have another, like a second job, like a extra income plus the, you know, we do so much extra with it. Like, we're at 54,000 to charity too. You know, it's like I just know that that's what it takes to get the funds in to make it feel like it's worth doing a show. You know, and I just bring it up because sometimes you guys forget. But that's what people call it, you know, like they, you know, these idiots online, you know, it's crazy. Doesn't matter how you say it or what you do or. Thank you, Sarita. Plato said she sent me some ice cream. I'm like, oh shit, here it comes, man. Now we had an ice storm in 1976 that was, or around that time anyways, in Portland. That was just, maybe it was like 70, yeah, 77 or 8 or something. I mean, it was 2 inches thick. The entire city looked like ice city. I mean, you couldn't even see buildings. It was just everything covered. And that was when they said it was a new coming ice age. I wonder how it changed so much in 40 years. Now it's global warming, right? Yeah, I think, hey, thank you very much, Cheryl Bullock and Colleen Daily Page. You the same one from, did you change your name or is it Colleen? I can't tell now. All right. Anyways, thanks. I was going to say Domin. There's Domin up there. Yeah, never mind. I almost said that, though. I know it's not you. I can see your name right there. Yeah. And actually, that video that was made with my humor, I thought it was hilarious, but it wasn't done to be funny. I think they were trying to be malicious when they made the video. But to me, it's funny as hell. I always do that. For example, anytime somebody in the chat says, you know how people type in, "Okay, I'm back, everybody," and I always say, there was nobody waiting for you. Okay. There weren't people sitting around with a notebook typing in, okay, so-and-so left. Okay, I got to have so many questions I've got to ask that person. But yeah, when you come back, so I do say that because it's funny to me when people type that kind of stuff in, or the goodbye posts they make on Facebook, like everybody gave a damn what you thought. It's weird. I don't know. Anyways, those kind of things are funny to me. Thank you, Kathy Freudmaker, Ria Mazzarone, and Denise Patrick. Let's see. So here's what I thought we could do is you guys, maybe tonight, I was going to read over, obviously go through the entire sort of latest update on the, what do you call it, like the most recent information they have on the case, and then just kind of, it'd be kind of interesting to see what people think about various elements. So we'll just kind of look at the chat, and if I say kind of one more time, I'm gonna do something. Where's the other sound effect? Yeah. I'm sure I'll say it. I'll let the door hit in the ass. Yep. Yeah, and if you see that Camino guy in here, let me know. He's out of here. He's a clown. He's just a absolute ridiculous person. Let's see. Probably one of the people that hangs out on Reddit. Sits in my lap, went nuts. When she heard Gray, come on. And there was also audio that I listened to a couple days ago, and then it was emailed me again. So maybe it'd be kind of interesting to listen to, just that theory that I came up with the other day too. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, I think it was Super Mean. Sadie sent me it again. I listened to it a few days back. Wasn't really sure what it meant, what they were explaining sometimes. But it does sort of sound like this is an individual that is close to there's a family member that's part of the, not part of the investigation, but like one of the family members of the victims, I think. And this person was just sharing information about what they know, or maybe the theories by police, and just little bits of information. Whether or not it's true or not, we don't know. All right, what does it say right there? Hold on. No, that's not true, Nicholas Johnson. See, there's these fake accounts out there. I do go sometimes to people's channels and go, this is bogus information or something like that. But I don't troll people. I tell the truth on channels. But there's also fake accounts. For example, I know you're probably an idiot, Nicholas, but let me just show you something. I mean, your brain probably doesn't work well enough to understand it. But, like, for example, this right here on the screen, these are all the fake channels that had my exact name, and this is only half of them. There was a whole nother text file that I had, and these are all said Grant Hughes investigates with my face, and they go around all the time and they comment on different channels, and I have to get YouTube, and they remove them, and there's literally been hundreds and hundreds of them, but you're too dumb to understand that. I've explained it 4,000 times on the show. Now, yes, there are times when I go to people's channels and I go, yeah, they're talking about and discussing exactly the same thing that I talk about or something, and I go, yeah, wow, I just talked about that last night. Or I'll say something like, you guys are, this is completely bogus, like that wacko mob guy. What's her name? Ashley Banfield must be a complete idiot, okay? To have somebody on doing an overlay of a car that isn't the same car, and it's a darker color. We already went over that. The reason the guy made the overlay was because, and you go, well, you're just jealous. Oh man, it's not that at all. It's embarrassing. It really ruins the true crime community when you have some moron making overlay, taking a still frame of a car, driving in the dark. It's a little bit dark out. Has no shape similarity whatsoever other than it's a sedan. And then does an overlay of it using a Elantra, and then puts it out there like, oh, look, and then keeps it up there sort of overlay with a fade and kind of on there. So it's like, wow, ooh, ooh, ooh. And if you're somebody like Ashley Banfield, and you give anything like that a moment of credibility, you're, here's the thing. They didn't even look at the overlay video in the Kylie Rodney case, which was an absolute fact piece of information. This is completely bogus, and it's only done for sensationalism reasons, and I just find it disturbing, okay? But anyways, so, this is the latest, where I'm at now in the accounts. But there was a whole nother one with 300 accounts on it. So there's probably been close to 400 total Grant Hughes Investigates. And listen, whenever you see a person commenting, go to the channel if you can. Or look at at the top. It actually says Grant Hughes Investigates. They have to use something different than that. Okay, and anytime you're contacted on Twitter by somebody, there's fake Twitter accounts with my name. There's fake this, there's fake that. They're fake everywhere. Anyways, I really did a lot more on this too. So I even have a couch in there. Look at that. See that? The little corner couch is inside the living room, and the TV is in the little right there. See? So yeah. Got it going. I just want to kind of make it look somewhat realistic, and then do it. Then we just have it ready to go. Hey, thank you, Holly Rose. But you guys understand what I'm saying? People need to be more discerning. How can a channel like News Nation put on a absolute clown who has just copied and almost mocked the true crime community with an overlay of a car that's a darker car, doesn't even have the same shape, and then you're just to claim that that's the Elantra driving by? I wish people actually understood how disgusting that stuff is. He probably was like, what the hell? They want me on for this shit? Yeah, okay, young god. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know they like being discussed. I'm just saying it's not my fault that I didn't ask somebody to create fake accounts, okay? I really didn't. I don't know what News Nation's thinking when they did that. I was really kind of shocked and embarrassed, and really just for the true crime genre, okay? There was nothing clever or intelligent about it. I saw the car. I immediately knew that it was not the Elantra. Doesn't look like it at all. Different color, different shape. So there was no need to do an overlay to make it look like it's the Elantra. All right. Anyways, enough of that. Oh God! Again? Looks like we're gonna lose the game again. Against the same team by 1 point again. God, how in the hell does all this happen? The Blazers just I just can't find a way to win a game. When the music quits playing. There it is. Go dogs, what? Yeah, I'm gonna have call-ins later. I could put it on this screen, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, so we're gonna have call-ins, but I want to do poll questions too. So, you know, send in your poll questions in the chat here, and we'll type them in. What? Don't you think that's crazy though, Ashley Ramos, to do that? I mean, just to throw it out there, like I have this 3D model that I've made where it shows the inside of the house and how it's laid out and the various routes that the killer may have taken in the different orders. Wouldn't that be more interesting for people, or is it the sensationalism of the white car and the car in the background and just everybody focusing in so much on the white car, is that more entertaining to somebody? I don't really get it. I don't know what that means, this account. No idea what that means. All right, Ali79, thank you. So let me ask you, I'll do a poll question, I guess. You know, this is one of those pictures you don't see too well. No, that's the one with the blood on it. It was this one. See, this is a shot from behind the house that you don't really see too much out there. This one looks like Andy Johnstone for Daily Mail did this shot. But, you know, that's how you can tell that there was a window and all that stuff back there. And there's one down here, it looks like. But, you know, somebody standing up here could get a view. I wonder what the whole story in this case must be absolutely, could just be totally crazy what's going on. Crawlspace is a podcast. I was on there. They seem to like, did anybody watch that, by the way? Or listen to it or watch it? Or I think it went pretty well. Anybody see it? Yeah, it's with Tim and Lance on Crawlspace. I was on there like last week sometime. Oh, you liked it? Okay. Sweet. It does, being on there hardly ever helps out the sub count on my channel, though, I can tell you. It's just kind of fun. Those guys are really cool dudes. So. Oh, thank you. Yeah, lost by 3 this time. God, we were just up by 6 a minute ago. I'm not sure what that means, Meezer Mom. Like, what does that even mean? There's drone footage out there. Tons of drone footage. We've seen it. Curious when it comes to true crime, you know? You're afraid of them? If the case doesn't get solved soon, it's going to get really insane. Why? Well, yeah, because it's already insane. Is that the, that's a poll question for you? All right. Yeah, let's do that one. Or is planned out, or just someone was set off into a rage? Planned rage. There we go. How come it's not letting me? Yeah. Oh, it's one digit too long on the. So I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna do were the murders planned out? There we go. All right, there's your poll question. First one there. I'm just took her words, whoever typed that in, and put them up there. Well, I feel like it was a mix of rage, planning, very briefly planned. I'll ask this one. Actually, I gotta wait. How many people have answered it already? 241. Okay. I'm gonna end the poll in like 10 seconds. But it looks like plan, wins. 56%. Okay. All right. And got to be a little quicker to hit that poll question. Be solved as possible. Do you think this case will be solved in the next month? God, I sure hope so. I mean, I really do. I want it to be solved very quickly. And if you guys could hit that like button for me, that'd be great. And subscribe if you aren't a subscriber. I know sometimes I'm a little bit more, I'm sort of pessimistic a little bit sometimes for the true crime community and things that I say, but it's all real things. It's I care about the genre in it on its own, so I want it to be something where it's respectable and good ideas, like people really thinking and putting out ideas that and information that's helpful in some way instead of just sensationalistic, just garbage. Okay, now you might think when I make my animations, I don't know, I think there's value to having people sort of see how it is, and then people can think like, wow, did the person know this house or not? And maybe that's helpful, but it just gives a better understanding to everybody. Like, we don't know exactly what what rooms the girls were in. I mean, was Kaylee actually in her own room and then ran over to Madison's room, and they were both found on the same bed but weren't actually, but apparently Kaylee's bed was still made, so I don't really know how that works. It'd be great if somebody would just tell us that information. You think it'll be solved? You're praying that it'll be solved in the next month. Okay. So this poll, do you think, here it is right there, do you think the case will be solved in the next month? And no, 59%. All right. Well, that one's ended. Yeah, well, I think they help a lot too. I don't know, man. God. All right, let's go over the, what does it say? What's Mary Lou doing? Something having a birthday? I don't know. She's having a birthday or not. Oops, shoot. I'm just going to go to the King Road thing here again. Here, hold on. My wife just got home. Just a second. All right. Yeah, apparently we got some crappy weather coming in. Oh, thank you very much, Philly Sport 820. Appreciate it. And my thing is people don't like it, like if I call out something that I think's bogus. So the thing is that like Ashley Banfield had somebody on that right during the middle of my show stole something that I was doing and made a video about it. And so I don't have any sort of like, oh, it's wow, it's so neat that you're on the show. Okay, there's somebody that isn't like a trustworthy person. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. So when you have somebody like that on a show and they're showing you some crazy little overlay thing that means absolutely, in the Kylie Rodney case, he was talking about how she got strangled. Somebody strangled her on the seat belts in the back of the car and did this whole little thing with it. Okay, and everyone's like, wow, and it's just absolute garbage, you know, total. Yeah, well, yeah, you see mirror. Yeah, I did see that a minute ago, but I forgot to take it off. There you go. Yeah, so I'm up at the top. Yeah. No, there's a YouTuber out there. It's just, I'm not even going to say his name. Because people like that, no, bad publicity is good publicity. Because, ooh, let me go see. Ooh. You know, I just wish there was a standard out there, a little bit. Just something that, you know, you can't just put out something like that that's not accurate. It's kind of, it's really discouraging for the rest of us, right? Because it feels like, wow, so for me to get really, you know, popular, I got to put out bullshit, you know? All right, forget it. All right, let me, so we were going over this the other night, but I got kind of cut off. And after we go through this, I'm going to play the audio file from, that was on what Super Mean Sadie sent me, but I also, you know, I listened to it like 4 or 5 days ago, or I think, maybe it was 3 days ago, I can't remember. But, you know, it was sort of interesting. I just have an audio clip of it. No, there's got to be something like that. But anyways, Gray, did you go through the chat on the stupid report? There were many people telling them how bad he was and telling them how great your stuff is. I didn't see it. on the video, I didn't even see the clip. What do you mean, Lisa? Yeah, it doesn't matter. People, you know. Yeah, I try to make like my channel. This is what this channel is all about. I try to do true crime, and I try to cover cold cases, and I try to cover missing persons cases, and every once in a while there's big cases like this that come up, and we cover those. And during the entire year, I try to bring in funds to help support my channel. So I feel like, hey, wow, I can, you know, at some day, if I could switch over, and this could be a job, like my actual job. But right now, it still is like a job. I'm just working double time. It would be so great to be able to take all that extra time doing stuff for this, like get up and do 3D modeling and all that kind of stuff during the other parts of the day. That would be great. But then I feel like it's important to give back. So I try to give like a ton of the, you guys are so generous to me that I give back a ton of the proceeds. And there's these web pages out there that say, Gray made $370,000. It's so ludicrous, I can't even believe it. I have the real numbers, not even close to that. And I am telling you, I give over 50% of the net revenue. So that means after I pay my quarterly taxes, I give over 50% of what's remaining after that from the YouTube revenue. Yeah, it's okay, Marlene. Maybe she doesn't even like me or know me. I mean, I'm sure she doesn't. I don't have a lot of positive things to say about her anyway, so it's no big deal. She's been around since the Jodi Arias days. That's kind of how she started. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm just saying that's what I do here. And the people who support my channel are people that want to, be part of what we're doing. I mean, we've done so many amazing things. Absolutely incredible stuff that you'll never hear mentioned on another channel because it's so like, wow. And they know that they could do something similar, but they're not going to. It's search engine stuff, Ryan. I don't know why it's anybody's business, but yeah, I've said it before. You earned it. Another channel. Hey, thanks, AB. All right, so anyways, here we go. I'm going to read this thing because we got cut off yesterday when I was trying to read it. Investigators are aware of a Hyundai Elantra located in Eugene, Oregon, and that's not involved. There have been numerous questions about leadership. Well, it didn't say that. It said registered out of Colorado to a female owner. It's not to believe to have any relationship to any property in Moscow, Idaho. Okay, so then it makes it seem, okay, not really going to be likely at that point. There have been numerous questions about leadership in the investigation. Let me be clear. I think we got through that part. He's just talking about how much they've, kicked ass, really. Investigators continue processing and working through more than 7,650 emailed tips, 4,313 phone tips, 4,583 digital media submissions, and have conducted over 250 interviews. Investigators believe someone has information that adds context. That someone has information that adds context to what occurred on the night of the murders and continue requesting additional pictures, video, and social media content. Whether you believe it's significant or not, your information might be one of the puzzle pieces that helps solve the murders. Digital submission of tips and leads will not publicly will not be disclosed due to our ongoing commitment to keep information private, and details may be pertinent to the ongoing criminal investigation. Investigators are aware of a Hyundai Elantra located in Eugene. We are working with the local jurisdiction to determine. So they've already updated this. They should have just removed that bullet point from there. As required by law, several Moscow police body camera videos are requested and released through the public record request process. The original release of any video by this agency is the official version, and circulated videos cannot be verified as authentic or unedited. Another video believed to be taken on the night of the murder at a local downtown business is known to investigators. Investigators have identified an individual called Adam in the video, and he is cooperating with detectives. Yeah, that's something we did talk about. That line's pretty interesting. That the guy named Adam is cooperating with detectives. So it's almost like in some sort of backhanded way, they're saying he's part of the investigation. He's cooperating, though. You know, I don't know. It's weird that they haven't said that about any other person. And if you remember, it said, "What did you say to Adam?" Like, I told Adam everything. All right, and we were talking about it last night. It makes it seem like the reason Kaylee's asking that is because maybe Adam had he acted a certain way, or he said something. Like maybe he, acted up in some way after Madison told her something, and then, Kaylee, when they're walking back, because it's not far from the bar that they just left where they're on camera, and then said, what did you say to Adam? Right? So it makes it seem like maybe Adam was actually upset. Because why would she really give a damn what Madison was talking about if it was just a normal, casual conversation at a bar, You're sitting there. I mean, she might care about it just by the fact that that person's friends with her ex-boyfriend, but it doesn't seem like you would say, "What did you say?" It's almost like there was a witnessing of him being upset about something. And that's what it feels like. Anyways, progress continues. Let's see, where was that one at? Yeah, so progress continues to locate the white 2011-2013 Hyundai Elantra believed to be in the immediate area of the King Road residence during the early morning hours of November 13th. Investigators believe the occupants may have critical information to share regarding this case and have identified over 22,000 vehicles. Wow. If you know of or own a vehicle matching this description, or know of anyone, I guess one way you could do it is look up in all the databases out there that they have anybody who owns an Elantra, and then work backwards. And then sort of like, okay, this person, does he have any known connections whatsoever to Idaho? And just start removing them. And then then you probably end up with a pool of people. Unless the car was stolen, then it's completely, then it's difficult. Yeah. No, it really couldn't, Ryan. I know that you like to, just be the Debbie Downer most of the time, but yeah, when somebody says, what did you say to Adam? That means, like, something happened where she wants to know the answer to that question. Like, he probably was a little bit upset about it. Right, yeah. You always have, like, hey, well, let me come up with, it's always less likely what you bring up, almost every time, but we have to entertain it. They could cross-reference cell pings with the car. Yeah. Yeah, they could do something, but you have to do that big data dump to get that done. Right. Yes, you're right. It could mean absolutely anything. She saw Madison whispering into Adam's ear and thought, hey, what did you say to Adam, man? Were you guys, Well, no, but it was her tone, right? She said, what did you say to Adam? But a minute later, they were sort of happy because they're drunk too, right? So it's not like you're focused and your attention stays on the one topic. Right. I'm just saying. It's just... right. Because what happens is when you got people, a lot of times, they like to throw out comments that sort of squashes a direction to go in. Now, that means a troll was watching and changed their name to... mock another a creator out there, and then they make their comments. Just, people are so stupid, Yeah, the tone sounded like that, right? But then, minutes later, they're just goofing around laughing. So, I don't know, right? No suspect has been identified, and only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released to the public. We encourage referencing official releases for accurate and updated progress. All press releases and related information are available at that same site. There's the car. Yeah, I think what I was looking for, though, is I want to, on the day before, we can go down and, yeah, so this timeline part that was on the 19th, so just 2 days ago. On the evening of November 12th, Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan were at a local bar called the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street. I mean, everybody can picture that in their head now, right? In downtown Moscow between 10 and 1:30. On November 13th at approximately 1:40 a.m., Kaylee and Madison were seen on a video at a local food vendor. Well, so, now we know that they were seen at like 1:35-ish. Probably even sooner than that, like right here, walking. And that's when Kaylee asked Madison, "What did you say to Adam?" And then Madison said, I think she said, "Like I told him everything." All right, then they make it to the food truck, which is right here at 1:40. Kaylee and Madison were seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street, and used a private party for a ride home from downtown to arrive at their 1122 King Road residence around 1:56 a.m. So right here is the spot where the Grub Truck was, and that other surveillance footage where Kaylee asked that question is up the street right up here. And eventually they came down and then crossed and then that's why they came into the scene like that. Not that that matters at all, but then they bought something, got their food over in this area, then came out here and then got into a car that probably took them down in that direction. And after they got in that car, they got home at 1:56. So it says it right there, downtown to arrive at their 1122 road residence at 1:56, at around 1:56 a.m. And right here, investigators have determined that Ethan Chapin and Zaina Kernadel were seen at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive at approximately 1:45 a.m. Ethan and Zaina are believed to have returned to the residence at 1122 King Road. It was previously reported that Ethan resided at the home. However, it has been determined that he was only visiting, so he didn't live there. We all know that. Detectives believe that on November 12th, the two surviving roommates had also been out in the Moscow community separately. Now, again, I still don't know if that means that those two were out separately from the other 4 people, or those two, even amongst themselves, were out separately. Like, one of the roommates was over here and the other one was over there. I don't know what that means, but they returned home at 1 a.m. So that'd be weird if they both got home at 1 a.m. even though they both were out separately on November 13th. The two did not wake up until later that morning. On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out. Right? It wasn't that one of the surviving roommates passed out. It was that one of the second floor roommates had passed out and was waking up. Was not waking up. Let me see. What does it say? On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed. So this is what they told the friends that called 911. Hey, I think Ethan's on the floor up above and he's not waking up. The call was made from the surviving roommate's cell phones, so 2 phones inside the residence. Multiple people talked with 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the location. So that means there was multiple people that had showed up. They probably were this is just speculation. They probably were relaying information from the what the two surviving roommates had said to the 911 operator, and a lot of that information was likely pertinent to the investigation. Autopsies were conducted. Let's see. On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends. Okay, and then at 11:58 is when the 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from the surviving roommates' cell phones inside their residence. Multiple people talked with 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the location. Officers entered the residence and found 2 victims on the 2nd floor and 2 victims on the 3rd floor. Autopsies were conducted on November 17th. The Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of 4 murdered individuals. The coroner, the manner of death is homicide by stabbing. The coroner stated the 4 victims were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds, and each was stabbed multiple times. So I think what they're saying is they were likely asleep, prior to the killer coming in or something like that. Because it seems like a lot of that's changed. She says, well, they weren't all in their beds. Well, then, were they attacked while they were sleeping? The coroner stated the 4 victims were likely asleep, some had defensive wounds. Detectives continued investigating what occurred from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th, when Ethan Chapin and Zaina Kernodle were believed to be at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho. So they're still wanting to know what they did that whole time. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, Philly Sport 820. Man, well, there you go. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't put out sensationalism, so it's hard to get my numbers just start soaring through the roof. And I also don't get 7,000 people watching, and I don't know what the difference is, or 8,000 or 4 or 2 or 8. I get 1,200, 1,300 maybe. I'm just reading some of your comments. Yeah. So the reason I think that the Adam comment means a little bit more is mainly because they said that he's cooperating. It's a little weird comment, right? He's cooperating. Well, what has he said? Yeah, we don't do spirit boxes. Yeah. I think it's disturbing that people even watch that whatsoever. So they're looking for any surveillance footage. We already know that. And like this, oh, you can't see. Hold on. In this area right here, basically. But I think they should look in the entire town. Like I said before, they should be looking in the entire town for surveillance footage of any car, anything that was moving after like 2:45 to 6 in the morning. Just if you have any Ring doorbell camera that has anything moving on it at 3:45 or 2:45 to 6 in the morning on the 13th of November, then get that digital media to police. That's what I would do. There's really no reason why they wouldn't do that. Yes, that would be, Ryan. Then the case would move more into the, there'd be a probable cause document, and that would be incredibly interesting. So that would lead to more interesting information, and that's where my 3D model will come into importance for me anyways. I'll be able to lay out and put make the events how they were. Let's see. Okay, so now this is the part that we have to throw in there. At this time, well, they looked into a stalker. They found those other two guys, but it seems like they've changed it, that wasn't related to what people were referring to as Kaylee's stalker, so they're still looking into that. At this time in the investigation, detectives do not believe the following are involved in the crime: the two surviving roommates, the male in the grub truck surveillance video. So that's the guy Jack that had the hoodie on. And I hope that most people, after watching that new piece of surveillance footage, looked at that and went, oh yeah, no, he was just a guy with their friends, they've known him. Okay, he looked a little odd at the grub truck, but isn't that weird how you just see another piece of information and then it changes how you look at it? It does for me anyway. The male in the grub truck surveillance video. Private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on November 13th. Then the male that Kaylee and Madison called numerous times during the early morning hours. That's Jack D., the ex-boyfriend. Any individual at the residence when the 911 was called, or, so that means none of the people that showed up after the two roommates texted and they came over, they don't believe that they have anything to do with it. They also don't think the surviving roommates had anything to do with it. They don't think Jack, the ex-boyfriend, has anything to do with it. They don't think that maybe it's Jake, I can't remember, but the guy at the grub truck has anything to do with it. The person who drove Kaylee and Madison home from the grub truck had anything to do with it. And the individual on the lease who moved out of the residence before school year started. So that puts them in a weird position, because now it's like, okay, it's not one of anybody that night and the next day that were part of it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't look at them as shady at all, though, Ryan. They just seem like people that we assign as shady because they're, ooh, it's a murder, and look at, it's just people. Who knows, man? The one neighbor that spins a night, the fire blades and all that kind of shit. Who knows what that guy is? Inan or whatever the hell his name is. I don't know. The only thing that's sort of interesting is a mild description that I have somewhere, but I'm not going to say it. But could this have been drug deal? No, it couldn't have been. I mean, anything could be anything, but I'm just going to say no. All right? All right, that's what I said, Zozo. I think it's because he acted a certain way, and that's what... Then she realized Madison had told him something. 1700 AB. I've got a whole stack of them. They line up around the house. Who cares what a profile... Hey, listen, Deanna K... Listen, you and a lot of people out there buy into so much stuff. Now, whether he does have something to do with it or not, we don't know, but I guarantee it, a YouTube profiler isn't going to be correct often on those kind of things, right? And it's just the truth. You can go look it up. They're really good after the fact. They can profile the hell out of somebody after the arrest is made, or yeah. Oh, Lord. I think heart. You don't need to block like every little comment people are making. Okay, just if people make those comments, just leave them up there. I'm redressing them when they show up on the screen. Just because you know, me saying something doesn't mean like you need to remove the comment. Unless I say, hey, can you remove that one? Just wanted the media attention. And see, there's where people go, see, Gray's mean to his mom. No, I just want it where I look up there, and a lot of times there's these comments that are just kind of, I don't agree with them or whatever, but they don't need to be removed, okay? Unless you're accusing somebody directly that law enforcement hasn't accused, and it's not written in a theory way, like, Welcome, Betty Fremont. Yeah, and so, but that's weird too, because that wording, I told him everything. So yeah, what is everything is such a big, everything, usually when people say I told him everything, means that there was some controversy that happened and they were filled in on all the details of it. And then, after hearing those details, he likely acted in a certain way, and then to Kaylee even. And then Kaylee, later when they're walking, what did you talk to Adam about? What did you say to Adam? Because he was like, that's what it seems like, That's what makes the most sense, something like that, given the inflection that was, and the way that they were saying. Although, of course, they're drunk, so how do we really know, right? People, when they're drunk, a lot of times are dramatic about stuff. Hey, all right. True crime nut. And yes, as I say on every single night, the e-begging, it's so ridiculous. If you guys would like to help out the channel with super chats, channel memberships, PayPals, and whatnot, it helps support me, it allows me to keep doing this every single night. And it also, I'm not just trying, I make it happen. I donate over 50% of the net revenue from YouTube to charity, and we're at $54,750 this year, and $119,000 since January 2020. So that allows us, the channel, to do a lot of really cool things like DNA testing and so forth. All right. I'll give you the actual breakdown up here. It's Texas EquiSearch. You guys all know them. We've given them $8,030. Innocence Project $1,525. Wounded Blue Fund $500. Special Ops $1,610. RAIN, which is Violence Against Women, $8,931. NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, $6,665. End the Backlog, Testing Backlog of Rape Kits, $500. Abby Libby Ballpark, $2,500. NCVC, $500. And our DNA Fund with $23,000. And Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, $1,000. Black and Missing, $1,000. All right, that's what we do on this channel. So regardless of, Gray, I don't like Gray, we make a huge difference over here, okay? But it only happens if you guys support the channel on a nightly basis, right? That's how we're able to do what we're doing. Yeah. All right, Marlene. As soon as your Social Security check comes. I don't want anybody sending in their Social Security money, okay? Unless you are doing really well, and your Social Security money is just your play money that you don't really even need. All right. Pre-bail. Do you think I'm heading to jail soon, Tosh? I think I might be. Yeah, I don't think there's... Well, I think there's some meaning, possible meaning to what was said in that surveillance footage, that little clip that was released. Because it shows that there was something going on. It might, like we all say, it might not mean anything. But that means more to me than anything that was said in the Grub Truck video, for example. That actually showed that there might be some kind of, or there's a good chance of, that there's some thing that Adam maybe wasn't supposed to know or something. I mean, she told him everything. I mean, it could have been like, oh, there was this other girl that said she liked him or something, but then why would Katie, I don't know. There's something more to that, I think. Detectives were also seeking additional tips and surveillance video of any unusual behavior on the night. Yeah, we got that. Where you went through this part. Okay. Currently, there's no suspects in custody. So, that wording to me when they say there's no suspects are in custody. Well, I mean, there can be suspects, but they're not in custody. So they're being specific there. So I think that they have suspects, but they're just not in custody because they don't have enough information. On the night of the incident, officers located a dog at the residence. The dog was unharmed, turned over to animal services, and later released to a responsible party. Local businesses were contacted to determine if a fixed blade knife had been recently purchased. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road to locate possible evidence. Governor Brad Little directed up to $1 million in state emergency funds for the ongoing investigation. More than 2,770 calls to the tip line and 208-883-7180, over 2,645 emails, over 1,084 digital media submissions. I think this part down here is the 4,000 crime scene photos and multiple 3-dimensional scans. So that right there is really good to have that. On November 29th, as part of the ongoing homicide investigation and original search warrant, detectives relocated 5 vehicles from within the police perimeter to a more secure long-term storage location. Yeah, and those are probably the 2 surviving roommates and all 3 of the murdered victims' vehicles. Idaho State Police Forensic Service Crime Lab scientists have worked on the case for weeks. And thank you, Scott Holland. Appreciate it, man. As detectives move forward with the homicide investigation, a private security company has been contracted to provide scene security to free up patrol resources. I'm wondering if that's what that group was that came in with the beards. I don't know. The scene remains under police control. Detectives are aware of a 6th person listed on the lease, and they know where he was, and he's not involved. So the rumor control stuff. There's been an extensive media interest regarding the incident at Taylor's Avenue at Band Field on November 13th. And the reason that there's a lot of interest in that is because it's a video, and it was shot in the evening, and it allows people to just it's something to talk about. There isn't a lot of really, I mean, the one car does drive by at 258, I think, and it's, I mean, that's a car moving and it's heading down the street where it has to take a left to either go into the area where the victim's home is, or goes up into that neighborhood behind the scenes. Thank you, Mrs. Matt Murphy, and also True Crime Nut. We have not changed our belief that the murders were a targeted attack. However, investigators have not included if the target was the residence or its occupants. There have been media questions about September 12th incident regarding an argument between a group of people walking on the University of Idaho bike path. Yeah, that whole incident was cleared up. There have been media questions regarding a February 2022 death on Baker Street. The Latah County Coroner Office has confirmed the death was due to an overdose. This case is not related to the ongoing murder investigation. There has been online reports of a red Mustang on South Deacon Street being processed. Yeah, I saw that. And that says it's not accurate. It wasn't part of this. The identity of the 911 caller has not been released. Well, there was multiple, right? Because you said their phones were used. There have been numerous media inquiries about a 1999 double stabbing in Pullman, Washington. While these cases share similarities with the King Street homicides, there does not appear to be any evidence to support the cases are related. What that evidence might be, I don't know. Detectives are aware of a Latah County Sheriff's Office incident of the report of a skinned dog, but do not believe there is any evidence to support it's related to the incident. Detectives are also aware of a Moscow police incident of the report of deceased animals left on a resident's property. This was determined to be wildlife activity. Online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. So there you go. So what do you do with that information? Yeah. All right, so let's listen to this audio clip here. All right.
Someone inside the investigation. I just want to let you know that I'm a relative of someone inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho.
And I have no way of knowing if this is valid or who this person is or anything. Okay, this is just something. I mean, I get emails from people that have, extra information, and it's hard to ever know what you can believe and what you can't, but sounds reasonable.
I don't want to be any more specific than that, because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor, as I don't have first-hand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victims' fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory. As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100% true, at least in regard to the fact that they hadn't fallen to sleep in the same bed.
See, that was sort of, kind of interesting, because it kind of didn't really make a lot of sense, right? If Kaylee's bed is in the home and then they're both sleeping on Madison's bed, and it's kind of the small room. I don't know. It's weird.
One of the victim's wounds were deep gouges that were delivered with extremely aggressive force.
Who cares, Zozo? We're just playing it, okay? I mean...
So much so that the victim's liver and lungs were destroyed. Here's the theory that's happening.
You know what I mean? It's like you're always
they definitely
looking for
think it was
somebody
a
to say
man
something.
because of the force of the wounds. The person must have been very strong. They think the man came into the room after doing what they did on the second floor. They went upstairs. The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim.
Unalive. Man, when he said that, I just about puked. Why would he say that on some kind of a...
They did on the second floor. They went up.
See, like, I don't understand this part, so it goes...
Very strong. They think the man came into the room after doing what they did on the second floor.
Okay, so after they did what they did on the second floor, that would mean the second floor people were first, right? Huh? Yeah, unalive, Jesus.
They went upstairs.
So then they're saying that the person was on the second floor first, then they go up to the second floor next.
The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim. The second victim
You mean
awoke
murdered? Yeah.
and tried to run.
So where did they awake from, though?
The man, they believe that the man possibly grabbed her, and she screamed loudly, apparently. The man...
Because he said that he's a relative of a person inside the investigation, truthfully. Did you miss his first sentence? I don't know if this is legitimate at all. I'm just playing it because it's out there as somebody, claiming, it's their voice claiming to be a insider. Now, they could have absolutely nothing to do with it. No, they didn't say that, Zozo. Did you ever listen to this thing? I mean, I don't have to play it. Right? I mean, Zozo, would you rather just have me not play it? You too, Truth Sleuth? I mean, I can go ahead and just not play it and get right to the phone calls. You guys seem really disturbed by it. Like it's just, really bothering you guys. He actually does address the screaming in there. Yeah. Well, it is he's just saying what he's saying. Okay, I'm just playing it because it's out there. Well, no, you said you keep criticizing it, and I'd rather not play it. I explained to you that I'd have no way of verifying if this is true or not. It's just somebody saying what they're saying. Just like if I get emails from people, I don't have any way of verifying anything that they're saying. Okay?
Then harmed her, and
I'm going back.
The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim. The second victim awoke and tried to run. The man, they believe that the man possibly grabbed her, and she screamed loudly, apparently. The man then harmed her, and the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which I apologize for how I know it's disturbing, but anyway, how do we know that she screamed? Because 3 individuals reported hearing a scream between 3:45 and 4 o'clock. That's why the police have such a specific time frame as to when the murders occurred, because I don't know if you noticed, but the authorities weren't called the next day until late in the morning, yet they had a very specific time frame when the murder happened. They think the scream is why. And after reviewing video files from the neighborhood, they reviewed security cameras in the area, and they have an audio file where I haven't heard it, but I was told that a you can clearly hear a loud scream from a female. That scream was recorded at exactly 3:38 a.m.
Yeah, that could have been on that Ring doorbell camera that's right there, the same one that recorded the car driving by, because sometimes it seems like our camera goes off on loud noises sometimes instead of just motion. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But
Neighbors say they didn't call the police because they said there's often loud noise coming from the house. I was told that there are parties there all the time. Again, I don't know if that's true, but it's what I was told.
See, that's accurate.
The weapon used was a long serrated-edged hunting knife with a fixed blade. The weapon had not been in the house. The person brought it with them and took it when they left. The two victims were on the same bed, not side by side. One victim was found on top of the other. The reason is that the one tried to escape and was grabbed, harmed, and then shoved and fell on top of her friend. That is why there's a lot of blood mixtures on this at the scene.
Yeah, I mean, this could be just totally bogus, but when you just listen to it, it doesn't sound crazy. It could just be somebody's theory that they're trying to add credibility to by saying, "Oh, I've got a family member in there."
They're also desperately looking for this white car. The reason being is that it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station.
Yeah, and see, that actually makes sense because you guys remember early on. Where is that? It's just right over here. Yeah, right here. This A&W right there. They said that they had surveillance footage from that A&W. And the news was filming that A&W. Look how perfect that is. Boom. And then what time was that car over here at this Exxon? And see, God, doesn't that make more sense altogether? Because that car was going this way in the surveillance footage at the Exxon gas station, right? And wasn't that at 3:45? Isn't that correct? So how perfect is that? You have it driving right by the A&W here, and just moments later it's going right here, and then boom, this camera over here would have filmed it driving like this. So I don't know, but it's pretty crazy.
I don't even know what that is, but anyway, that's, again, it could be wrong. I was just told it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station / hangout at 3:45. Now, if the screen was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame, but it is possible that the person left immediately and rushed and was seen speeding by.
I think they would have left immediately.
The scream may have been what caused the person to quickly leave. That scream could have been what saved the other two roommates' lives. The person knew that they might be detected, so they sped away. Again, this is all just rumor. Take it for what it is. I just pray for these young people. I hope they rest in peace and that their families can find peace after this horrible crime. And I hope that the person who committed it can be brought to justice.
Yeah, so I don't know. Sounded reasonable, not some really crazy sounding thing, Right? It doesn't sound absolutely wild or anything. No, he said that he was he has a family member of somebody inside the investigation, he said. Well, he's just saying that he's told this, but he has no way of verifying it because he's not the person. How come you guys don't really listen well? It's strange. It's very odd. It's like he explained it all. It was really clear. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Deanna. I don't have any time for 4chan and Reddit and all the bullshit places out there. I wish a lot of you wouldn't spend time there either. It's, gets old. Alright, I think there's a call that came in. Right here. 610, you're on.
Hey, Gray. How you doing?
Not too bad. Who's this? Hello? Hello? You there?
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, what's going on?
All right, sorry. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, I was playing the video while I was talking to you.
Yeah. Right. But as soon as you hear my voice, then you just start talking instead of keep listening to the radio. You know what I mean? All right.
Sorry.
So
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not Patsy Cline, but you know.
Didn't think so. Hey, what's going on? What do you got?
So what I was thinking was like, I can't see how one person can walk into a 3-story house and commit all those murders like that. I think it has to be more than one person.
No, I don't at all. I mean, people are sleeping. You know, they're isolated in their own, different rooms, and 3 of them are female. I probably got the guy first. Then one of the other females. I went upstairs, and there was maybe the target was upstairs. Killed one, and then got the other one because I think they know the person though. I think the killer knows all 4 of them. Everybody.
I
in the
agree.
house, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree. But if you think about it, like realistically, like if one person goes up into a bedroom,
Yeah, sorry about that.
and turns the light on, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it's probably pitch black. They turn a light on. They see somebody. They see 2 girls laying in the bed, and they start stabbing one of the girls. I don't care how drunk the other girl is. She's gonna wake up.
Well, it sounds like they did. Did you just listen to that last person? I mean, if that's true, then it sounds like the other one woke up and started screaming even, and he had to. Then he killed that person,
Right.
but he'd already killed Ethan and Zaina downstairs, and maybe Ethan was leaving to go home right when that person came in, and he got killed, and then Zaina came out to try to defend him. Right there. I think it was right there. As a matter of fact, I think, like, you picture it to be Ethan coming out of Zaina's room, and that's their door, like the front door, basically, because she just locks it. So he's leaving,
Right.
and right when he's leaving, maybe he got attacked, and then the door's open, the person forced his way, and then she maybe jumped on her bed to try to get as far away as possible from the person, and then he killed her over there, and so maybe Ethan's found in the hallway. She's on the bed. Then then he goes upstairs, and those other girls, being kitty corner, and then up on another floor, maybe just didn't hear anything, or maybe slightly heard something. I mean, who knows?
But
He goes up there next.
Thing that doesn't. That's the thing that doesn't make sense.
Well, it does make sense because you think that everybody acts a certain way. Because if they're drunk, right? Then he goes up there.
Yeah.
And, they're just probably, what's going on? They're probably not even really processing it very well.
No. If they're drunk, if someone's screaming for their life, 3 other people are going to hear that.
I think the other 2
that's
roommates
the thing that
heard
doesn't
something.
make sense.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they could have heard something, but maybe if it was just a quick yell, they weren't awake at that moment. So the thing is, when you're sleeping and somebody screams, and you wake up and they're not screaming anymore, does your mind know that you heard a scream, or do you just kind of, I got woke up, but you don't know why you woke up?
The thing is like the cops initially, like in the first couple of days, said that they all died in their bed, right? So that they said that all 4 victims were in their bed. So if somebody's stabbing you in the bed, like the person sleeping next to you is obviously going to hear that. So to me, that tells me that like there was at least 2 people that went into that house. Because there's no way one person goes into that house.
I know you keep saying no way. You keep saying no way this, no way that. I just totally disagree with you. If you worded it differently, like, yeah, I think I'm leaning towards maybe there's 2 people, but you keep saying it in a way where I'm just it's almost irritating because it's like there's
Okay.
no well there's
All right,
no, well it's like there's no way this and there's no way that, and that's just not true. Okay, so if you
Yeah,
you know,
you're right.
but if you believe in your mind,
I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, there you go. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to start like an argument or anything. I'm just.
Well, I know you're not. I
To
know
me,
you're not. That's how I talk, though, because we're in a place where you just keep saying something that's contradictory to reality. That it's not. You say there's no way, and it has to be this and it has to be that. Where it doesn't have to be that. It could be.
Yeah, you're right.
But
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is no matter who was killed, if there was multiple people, somebody screamed in there. At some point, somebody yelled, right? So
Right.
how does that change anything?
You have two people on one bed in one room and on one floor, and you have two people in another bed on another floor, and you have two supposed people that didn't hear shit on the basement floor.
Right.
So if one person walks in and starts stabbing somebody, you mean there's four other people don't wake up or hear anything? It doesn't make any sense.
No, I think that the two surviving roommates heard something. I just thought they probably weren't quite sure. Probably sounded a little unusual, but there is a lot of screaming and yelling that goes on at these homes. So he probably just those two. It made them lock their doors for sure. You know, but there might have been something.
Right.
They might have even have noticed a person, and you know, then there was screaming. But who really knows, right? Like,
Yeah,
but
we don't know.
It doesn't mean anything. It could have been a party. They might have thought it was like people still partying because it's Saturday. You know, well, I guess it's early Sunday morning, but that's still considered Saturday night for some people, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's possible there was more than one person in there, and maybe there was, but
Yeah.
It's not something that has to be. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. So what are you doing? What are you up to?
Not much. Just listening to your. Actually, I'm watching your channel, and I'm watching the chat on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what I do every night because you have an awesome channel, and
Cool.
you do awesome work.
Yeah, cool. Well, I hope it doesn't bother you the way I talk, because I just I want more people to sound like
No,
that.
not at all.
You know, like, hey, there's a chance.
You're real. You're
Okay,
real.
yeah.
Like there's a lot of I've probably watched I don't know 5 or 6 other channels that are all covering this topic in the last couple of weeks, but you're the most realistic person on YouTube. Like you're just like cut to the shit. Like, this is what I think, and this is like, and that's why people appreciate you. You know.
Oh, cool. Well, I appreciate it. Well,
Yeah.
at least there's some reason for people to like me, but kind of having a little bit of a struggling night here on our normal. Let's see. How can roommates prove? I don't know. I don't know how they can prove anybody's sleeping. I just think it's 3:45 in the morning, so they're thinking, "Oh, wow, they were sleeping."
And if you come out to the East Coast anytime soon, I'm going to buy you a cheesesteak.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
cheesesteak.
With fried onions and peppers.
Nice. Sounds good. All right. Well, hey, what was your name again? I thought you've called many times before, right?
Yeah, Rich. Yeah.
Rich. Yeah, Rich. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go get this next call, but I appreciate you calling in. We'll mark you down for multiple killers. Okay.
All right, sounds good, my man.
All right.
All right, have a good night.
All right. See you. Bye. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to throw myself in prison, you guys. We're on one of those really crappy 1/3 of a normal night, and I could be called mean. Now, who was this idiot up above here? Hold on. Oh yeah, that not that one. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was something like Threads and Roses. I mean, yeah. Don't you think it's possible that Ethan was killed first? Don't you think? And that was something we talked about at the very beginning, because the dad said, "Why did he have to go upstairs?" Because that's a reason you might say, "Why did the killer have to go upstairs?" Anyways, I'm gonna be stuck in here for a while. I can tell, with 1,400 people watching. One of the worst nights we've had in like forever. Let's see. And then the roundtable guy said, he's just mean to his callers. Yeah, that's total bullshit. Okay? You just don't watch the show. Oh, -5. Not getting out of here. Kill the strongest first. Yeah. Well, it could just be random that the strongest was killed first. You know, I don't know if it's actually possible that only one person was supposed to die that night. Oh, for the phone call. Oh, so I'm still have no bail yet. We're still at -5. Thank you, Billy Juliana. And Don. Oh, there we go. Marlene. That might get us out. Help us get out of here at least. And Persephone's pomegranate. Bail or a cheap prison cheesesteak. Yeah. Everyone seems to like those a lot. So I think that got us, we were at -5, +5, +10 or something. Oh, and then now, oh wait, I got sent back in by Garden Girl. No way you're getting bail. So now that was negative, or +1. That just barely gives the guard a Snickers. And then Garden Girl, and then also Cat Aussie Girl. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, you guys understand what I'm saying, right? When I say that, when people say, there's just no way, right? You can't just sort of let it be that way. Oh, whoa. Jeez, what happened over here? Thank you, Annie T. I got a couple calls coming in here. Just a second here. 8675309. Thank you. With the, I was going to say, what's, oh, yeah. You see that? I sent you an image. You see that? Candy cigarettes with Retsin, True Crime Nut, and Dreaming of Blue Skies and Beaches. Wow. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to make it out of prison. By the way, did any of you guys watch that documentary that's out there recently on, yeah, so Nomad Beads, a little bit, Michelle Sakura Griggs. It's the one on that guy that would make, oh, a strip search. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. And Zozo and Kathleen Kanik. Wow, are you related to the mechanic Kanik? All right. It's the documentary where this guy's doing, he pretends he's a police officer and he calls McDonald's and different places and then has the managers basically like strip search and assault these people. And he did it like at like 50 places. It's crazy because the person who was buying the cards, he didn't get anything. Like, he's the one that did it probably, right? I mean, he's buying the calling cards that were used. How come that wasn't enough to seal the deal in that case? The calling cards that were used to make these prank phone calls in the same city that this guy lived all led back to him because they have him on surveillance buying them, and he doesn't get anything. They just go, oh yeah, you're good. But some of the people, like the managers who did these things, like one of them, these people should have known the difference though, so I understand that. But one guy got 5 years in prison because he thought there was a rep. Oh, excuse me, let me get out of prison here. He thought that there was a rep and a like a Wendy's rep, let's say, and a police officer on the phone at the same time. And they would do these things like just crazy crap. Like I don't know, but there's studies out there. You ever seen that one where there's people that shock somebody? It's in the documentary actually. But they make a mistake and you have to turn up the volume on the shock, and these people think they're really shocking people and they keep turning it up. So it just shows you how people will do things like that. Thank you, Doohickey. Okay, let me get these calls. All right, 731, you're on. And thanks for the bail, you guys. All right, 731.
I'm sorry. Are you there, Gray?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Anna. Everybody keeps saying, how can they not hear the other kids in the house? I have a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old, and they sleep with their earbuds. I don't know how they sleep like that, but a train could run through my house, and they'd never hear it.
Yeah, I mean, you're just saying. I don't really get what
that could be a reason why they're not. How could two people, not hear it or whatever, not hear anything going on? And I'm like, I'm telling you, my kids, they don't even know anything's going on at all. Whenever they go to sleep at night, they have their earphones on or their earbuds in, listening to music or whatever. That's what they do when they go to sleep. Or they're gaming and they just pass out like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes people wear earplugs too, right?
Well, I'm just saying my kids, like mine are like 21, like in college, and I have an 18-year-old who's in college, and I'm serious. I could blow the horn in the garage and it echoes through the whole entire house, and that kid would...
Like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Had to wake people up.
These boys.
Had to wake people up. Yeah, so they have that big horn sound, and it doesn't even wake them up. They just sleep right through it. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Last time I called, I was talking to you about, I wonder if they had any cell phone data. Have they said anything at all about any cell phone data at all?
They haven't said anything about cell phone data.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen anything. I was just saying if you had, because you're in all the places, you usually have some really good information that is actual, from reputable places.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I played today, I didn't really, well, the thing I played today, I don't really know, it's just sort of somebody's opinion on something, but it sounded like they had inside information. If it's not true, it's not true, but, don't build a whole case on what the guy said.
Oh, no. I heard a lot of stuff that made a lot of sense, honestly. It made a lot of sense. If there was, blood that crossed, like a lot of, mixed, that makes a lot of sense.
I think everything you said made sense, and it wasn't outlandish what the person said. So even if it's not true, and it was their theory, it was a decent sounding theory based on information. There's people out there that just think they know all the answers. I don't have the answers. All I can think about in this case is just these are things that could be. Was Ethan and Zana killed first and then they went upstairs? That didn't win the votes, but it was definitely one of the ones other people consider, that they were killed first, then Madison and Kaylee second. And that's why maybe the dad said they didn't have to go upstairs because there was already a murder. See, when you have two separate spots, there's a murder downstairs. Why would somebody need to go upstairs except that he thinks his dad is, his daughter is the target. So that's why he thinks that, because there was no other reason for them to go up there, because he had already killed 2 people downstairs. You could look at it like that. It makes just as much sense as the other version.
It does. It does. I know people have said, the neighbors had said that there was a lot of loud noises over there throughout, because it is a college kid town, and there's college kids over there. But this might sound really stupid, but the way the house is built, some older houses, they're built a whole lot better than the newer houses. Sometimes the soundproof is better. Sometimes they're not. But I was curious about, I wonder, about this house. Like, I know there was a basement, so obviously you're probably not going to hear a whole lot down there.
Well, it's not really a basement. It's kind of like this weird first floor. And the new part is this new. This stuff over here is all new. Like that was the additional part, was where the kitchen and I think anyways. But it used to just be. So it's like a sunken floor plan. It's like a split level floor plan. Yeah, except the first floor isn't underground either. It's just kind of goes up. Then the second floor, then that second floor extends out over land, and then above the new part of the second floor, it goes up another story to the third. It looks weird. It's like an L. Or it does not look an L. Strange. Almost what is it? I'm not sure what that a stair step almost. Yeah. So that's it. Well, I appreciate your time again, Gray. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job, and I always love to see your the way you did the house, the 3D, and I don't know, you never cease to amaze me. Please don't stop doing what you're doing. You're very, very, very interesting to watch. Okay. Well, thank you. Right. Some people actually like my show. Gray. Well, thank you. Have a good one. I do. Bye. Bye-bye. See you. Yeah, that was nice. Didn't we just do the 610 one? Hello?
Hello? Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
This is Joe.
Hello, Joe. What's going on?
How you doing?
Not too bad. You must be in New Jersey, right?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, okay. All
right. Right outside.
Oh, right. The Philly cheesesteak. The same place. You have the same zip code as the last caller, or 2 callers ago.
Yeah, exactly. I got to be close to him. That's crazy. Yeah. But I was just wondering, man. Like, you think we're like prisoners of like just the latest technology? Like, I just don't know how. They say they have no suspects at all, and is everything just DNA dependent, camera dependent? And I mean, they're all great tools and all, but if this guy got around that somehow, which I don't know how, but I'm just saying, like, for it to be 6 weeks and not to have,
you have a pretty good. I think you have a pretty good point there, because I think this is how I look at it, and I don't know. I think a lot of the freaks over the years have seen the same thing. Is you've got the newer people, and they do rely a little too much on the sort of digital information, the cell phone tracking, the DNA, the this and the that. But there's these, when you do these old cold cases, these detectives come up with the most clever way of thinking to solve the case. Just weird a little detail here and one little here and ding, 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 ding that leads them in the right direction.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if, get a guy like Joe Kinda, like a Joe Kinda in here.
Mm-hmm.
Old school. Maybe he'd find something different, right?
My.
Right? What do you think?
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking, because and it seemed like I don't know the house that well, and an awesome job with all the stuff you're doing, man. I used to watch you like a year or 2 ago. I don't know what happened. I lost, but I'm glad I found you again. But anyway, it seems like it's a public house. Everybody has the codes to get in the house and all, because, it's like a college town and all. But I don't know how to have the codes to go in each other's bedrooms and whatnot. Like, that's what like concerns me. So whoever the killer was, he must have had at least one code to go in one of the bedrooms. You know what I mean? Like, how would he know that?
Yeah, unless they just got lucky and nobody locked their doors.
Yeah, and it does seem like a free-spirited, college town. You got the world by the balls, and all that. But it's just all this like potential evidence, and they don't have anybody. And I get it, like DNA takes a little time here and there. I know they can express it, like fast track it and all. But for them not to have anything like on a blip, nothing, like nobody has cuts on their hands. They don't have. Nobody.
Well, but here's the thing: is we don't know what they have. They could absolutely be on to the. Well, it doesn't sound like it because they keep wanting to talk to the people that. Unless the white car Elantra is a complete red herring, and then they almost seem like they have no idea. Because if the Elantra is not a red herring, then that means they're looking for the people that were driving the car as thinking maybe they're the suspect, but they have no idea who it is. Or, or they're just saying that because they want people to turn in surveillance footage, but they know who even was driving the car. They just want to track it all around to different places. But I don't know. But yeah. But here's but let me just say this: if they did know who it was and everything about it, wouldn't they have already just been going out and getting the camera footage from relevant places that would make a difference? Instead, it's just kind of random.
Yeah, right. It's like almost like it's desperation. And again, from that report you just read like a half hour ago or whatever, it said, I believe you said, we have no suspects in custody or no suspects in questioning or something. So that just is like, and I know they don't want to tip anybody off, but it's just like, man, it's like they're almost asking, like, we have as many answers as they do. It's crazy. I just don't understand how this is such a question mark with, I mean, I get it, all them kids in and out and all that, but somebody's got to know something, man.
Yeah, well, you'd hope so. Somebody's got to know something. There you go. I think that's the comment that everybody's saying is somebody has to know something. Yet, I mean, it was interesting too that the Adam guy, that they said he's cooperating. I mean, why wouldn't he?
Right.
Be? Why do they need to say that? Why wouldn't he be cooperating? Why do you need to say that he was cooperating? So that's sort of interesting,
Or like, I don't know how they would want to word it, but like you said, that leaves a little suspense. Or say, like they said with the other guy, the lunch truck kid, he's cleared, or, whatever, like something more definite that, like, no, he's cool. Now cooperating is like, he knows something, but he ain't it, or he could be it, or no, it's, and
we know what he was told, and we're looking into the things that he's told, whatever that is.
Yes, yeah, right. Yeah, man, this is a curveball, man. Jesus.
It's a weird one. Definitely is.
Yes. Well, I don't want to tie up the line. I really appreciate all you do. And let me know if you're ever hiring. I would love to help out, man, somehow. And, it's really, really the effort you put through, man. It's really cool, man. It really is.
Well, thanks for the kind words. I'm not really. I'm sort of. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have a PayPal? I know you have the super chat and all that. Like I use PayPal. I was going to try to send you something.
Well, I do have PayPal. Yeah, it's in the chat. But
okay. Is that your email? Is that your email address?
I think it's the same one. It should be. GRAY2Z2@gmail.com. I think. But anyways, but no, I don't. I'm sort of. People send me links and help out on the moderators and in Discord and on YouTube, but I don't really have any like employment yet. If I got really huge, You know, maybe I could do like have employees or whatever, but it doesn't seem like
yeah. Well, that will happen, man. It's just like, you know, I'm in a band and there's 4,000 songs dropped every minute, so there's so much competition. So you're on YouTube, you got 20 million other videos going on, but sooner or later you'll rise to the top, man. You will. Just keep punching.
Well, thank you. That's such. I hope so one of these days. But who knows?
Yeah,
it is what it is. Even if I just have my nice little niche, it'll be great, you know, because we're doing a lot of great things. You know, even when we do really good things, the other YouTube channels never mention it because they're you know, I'm not really sure why, but just
yeah, it's all competition, man. They don't want you to shine, but you will.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Greg. Thanks for all you do, buddy.
What was your name again? What's your name again?
My name is Joey.
Joey. Cool.
Joey GT. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, check out whoever does your theme music, Kevin MacLeod or whatever. That man, that is an awesome song. I obviously do listen to it for hours. You know, it's on repeat, but that is perfect, man. That is perfect theme song for you, man. That is awesome.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Joey.
All right.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah.
See ya.
Joey GT. Thanks, man.
Right, see ya.
Take care, boss.
All right,
I'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Man, sounds like New Jersey's a cool place. I mean, isn't Lillian from there too? There we go. I knew something looked kind of goofy. I just gotta fix this really quick here. See how it's kind of dark down there, and it shouldn't be because you can tell by the lighting. But there's this little thing you have to clear. They're called normals. They tell you how the light's supposed to be on them, but now it's good. There you go. All right, I think I cleared that up a little bit in the. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Anyways, let me get this one. 201, you're on.
Hey, Gray, how we doing tonight?
Not too bad. Not too bad. What's your name?
So my name is Rich. I'm calling from Jersey.
We got three calls from Jersey tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wasn't the other guy's name Rich too, though? Not to interrupt you, but what was the first guy from Jersey's name?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, sir.
Oh, okay, it was something like that. But anyways, go ahead.
So I don't want to speculate on who exactly committed these crimes, but I've been following this, for the past few weeks, like everybody else, and the way it just seems like someone did actually come in through that second floor, which is ground level. I don't necessarily think they came through the double sliding doors, but there is a set of double windows to the right of those double doors. Perhaps those windows, I think it's a bedroom that's unoccupied. Perhaps those windows were unlocked. They might have come through there. I do think they did head upstairs first. And like your one video portrayed, like they went upstairs, they killed Maddie and Kaylee, and then Ethan was downstairs. Maybe he heard something, and the door was open to the room that he and Xana were in, and the killer killed Ethan and Xana because they might have heard something. And
that's the standard theory, the one where. Yeah, the one that everybody voted for, the one that everybody believes is most likely, is that the killer came through the sliding glass door. That's what Kaylee's father, Steve Gonzalez, said, that the killer came through the sliding glass door. That's what he said police told him. So let's say he goes through the sliding glass door, then the killer went upstairs, killed Kaylee and Madison. Then on the way down, it sort of awoken Ethan, and then he was attacked right there, maybe in the hallway, and then Xana came out, and then she was attacked, maybe retreating back to the room, and then she was killed. And then the killer left again through the sliding glass door because it's behind the house. So
we definitely know that one of the kids, either Ethan or Xana, was definitely killed in Xana's room because the blood was dripping out of the house.
Well, that's why I was saying she retreated to the room, because I think it's her that retreated to the room, probably onto the bed. And then that's how the blood came out the house down there.
Right. What I'm thinking is even though they don't know if it's a targeted murder or not, most people are pointing to Kaylee being the target. I happen to think that Maddie might be the target, just because it was in Maddie's room. Kaylee was not in her room, and from what I understand, she was planning on moving out. So we don't know if Kaylee's room was empty or not at that point. Or have we been told that or not? I'm not sure.
The dad said that her bed was still made, wasn't messed up. So I don't know what that means.
Even if he went in, like if he just opened the door and checked to see if Kelly was there and she wasn't there, maybe he went into Maddie's room. But either way, someone would have had to have been casing that house for a good while when those kids got home. To know that, number one, they were even there. And just going by, let's say you're sitting outside and you see the lights going on and off, you know where people are in the house just by lights going on and off. So if you're sitting there for a while and you see the lights going on and off, you know where people are in the room, or you can at least gauge it. So if someone did want to go in, they could just judge by the light going on and off in a certain room where people might be. So maybe he moved in through those sliding glass doors. Maybe he moved in through those windows to the right of those sliding glass doors, and just knew that someone was in that room. How nobody made a sound is beyond me, other than the fact that maybe he walked in and just immediately went for, the throat. They're both sleeping. He goes for the throat, can get both of them while they're sleeping in a drunk stupor. Because as we saw in the surveillance videos, especially the food truck videos, Maddie was definitely wasted. Kaylee did not seem as wasted as Maddie, but Maddie was definitely stumbling around. She was wasted. They could have both just fallen asleep. Give it an hour or so from when they got home. You could just easily pass out. You eat something, you pass out. You walk in, you could stab one in the throat and stab the other one. Yeah. I don't know how not a sound was made, but I do think that one was definitely, killed first, or at least attacked first. Someone else made a sound, and then they were both taken out, and the killer made his escape, came down the stairs, and that's when he encountered Ethan. And then the whole shebang happened where he saw Ethan, killed him, and then Xana knew, and he went and killed Xana, and then made his way out. There's a lot of things we don't know as far as footprints, anything that have there had to have been a trail of blood, but no one has said anything, with good reason. The cops don't want to say anything, fine, but there has to have been some sort of trail going from one point to another. But I think your assessment that, he went upstairs first, came down, encountered the male figure who heard something, came out of the room. I think if Ethan didn't come out of the room, which is what I'm thinking, if he didn't come out of the room, they would have been spared and the killer would have left. But the fact of the matter is that someone was outside that house. Someone knew where those people were, and went in and made his move.
Yeah, I think they know the person, and I think the person probably knew the house. But I think that might be the reason that some needed to be killed, because they knew who the person was. So, so that's one of the things that's counter to Ethan being killed first, is because if he hadn't killed anybody yet, wouldn't you just kind of call it off? So that would make you think that the person was so enraged that they were going to kill no matter what. And so when Ethan popped up in there, he couldn't, he had to attack Ethan and Zainab because they know who he is, because he's got a mission. He's going to do what he wants to do, right? So that would be the way you could explain that, but it also could mean that why wouldn't he just call it off? So that takes away more of a serial killer kind of, that's more of a serial killer kind of angle, but it would mean Yeah, it's kind of makes it really complicated. It's like a regular person that's upset is going to, they're in there because they're emotionally angry, but somebody that a serial killer like person would just be there to kill the people because that's what they want to do. There's no, necessarily anger or anything. It's just it satisfies some need that they have. So, if they came in there and Ethan was killed first, let's see, that makes it more of a serial killer like person, unless Ethan was the, I don't know, guys, isn't that crazy? Like if the person was, but it makes me think that it's somebody that's angry with the 4 people living there. And one of them he was really angry at, or 5, there was actually 5 people living there, 1 person was a guest, right? So they were really angry with at least those individuals right there. But the killer may have came in there only to kill 1 person, maybe, but it seems like they went in there to kill everybody. Because how do you end up killing 4 people when you only really wanted to kill 1, and all with a knife too? It's just
and then you don't kill the other 2 on the floor, which is what a serial killer, if they're not getting caught at that point, that type of person is just going to go around the house and keep going until they see a reason to stop. And being that the 2 on the bottom floor didn't wake up and start making a ruckus, which I don't even think that would scare that type of person away, they would have went and finished the entire job, like a Ted Bundy situation. Like Ted Bundy kind of got scared away when he went on that rampage in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. He went and did his thing, but he also, he was acting on like a sexual manner, and he was a very depraved person. There's no indication of any perverse effects here. There's no that he the killer tried to assault anybody at first or whatever. This guy just went in and started stabbing. So what I'm seeing is that this guy went in with an intention of 1 person, and everybody else was a contingency. Like they saw something or they were just there. I think that if this person just had the chance to kill 1 person, he would have done it and probably gotten out of there. But the living situation and the way people were positioned, and possibly Ethan coming out and actually hearing something and trying to stand up for what was going on, because as men think, they hear something weird going on, they want to go out and check it out, and they want to make sure everything's good, protect their woman. He got killed in the process, and everything else snowballed from there. So I don't think it's a serial killer. I think it's someone that definitely knew what the house layout was like, because as your blueprints have pointed out, it's a very, very weird looking house, and it's more of a maze than anyone could ever imagine as far as a regular house.
Yeah.
So you have to know where you're going. You have to know where you're going. So I think he came in, he went upstairs, he found who he wanted to find. There was someone else there. He got his job done upstairs. Someone else heard it on the 2nd floor. He came down. He killed the witnesses and got the hell out of there. But he was definitely there for a while, staking out, who came home, who was there, because if what they say is true, between 3 and 4 in the morning, those kids got home around 2-ish. He has to know that they're there. Has to know where they are.
I think the person knows the killer is known to these people, and it just makes the most sense. They knew how to get around inside the house to the different rooms.
Absolutely.
And but it's just sort of an interesting the order. I mean, if it apparently I guess Ethan was in a fraternity where they had a curfew or something, and he could have been leaving the house, like just exiting the door and saying goodbye. But then then you'd say, well, why did the person attack him if he hadn't attacked any? Let's just say that's true, that he was attacked first. Why did he attack him when if his goal was Kaylee up there, couldn't he just done it a different day? So that would make you then think, well, he was in such rage that it didn't matter that he could call it off. This was going to get done tonight. Something like that.
Right. And if this was someone who was just purely in a rage but wasn't, I would say, desensitized to committing such heinous acts, you know, maybe if it was a fraternity person or someone that got pissed off at him at the fraternity party, even if this person did walk in and stab Ethan, I think at that point you would kind of back off and be like, what the hell did I just do? As opposed to going around and stabbing 3 other people in such a crazy fashion. This was definitely someone who could do it, you know, as opposed to someone who's just pissed off at one person and one person only. You stab a person and you know, I don't think it's someone who doesn't have the capacity to just be like, I'm really pissed off at one person, I'm going to kill this guy, and then just back off once you realize what you've done. This guy definitely went in there and had an intention to kill people. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily all these people, but he definitely had an intention to kill people. Yeah. I don't think he was pissed off and wanted to settle a score.
My original one was something like that they're then that's more of a scenario like the house is the target. But like for me, feels like it's this. I mean, my original theory, other than the boyfriend theory that I put out, was that it's a guy that liked one of the girls and felt like he would be with that girl, and he's so much better than the ex-boyfriend, or if that's the case, but or whoever it is, just thinks he's so much better and would be with them but for those meddling roommates, like the Scooby-Doo reference there. And so he goes in there and he's just so angry. His main goal, the one he's angry about, is the target, the girl that he liked, but he also wants to kill all the other people who kept him from being with that person. Sort of made sense at the beginning.
I don't know if Ethan would be the type of person that he would necessarily target afterwards to be like, oh, that person kept me away.
Well, no, but he had to be killed because he knows who he is. Ethan probably saw him at one point, and he feels like he's probably over there all the time, and he's part of the group of people who dissed on him, but he might not have known he was there that night. I mean,
right. But from what I understand, the 2 roommates on the bottom floor also hadn't lived there that long. I might be wrong, but from what I understand, they also, were kind of newer roommates. That video got released of the noise complaint call, where the one girl from the bottom floor kind of answers the door and then she runs away. I think if I remember correctly, those 2 roommates that lived downstairs weren't necessarily there as long as the other girls. There's a very good possibility that the 3 girls that were killed were part of some sort of friendship that F this guy, whatever, and Ethan was just in the way. But I still kind of lean towards Maddie being the target. Whatever Mr. Gonzalez said.
Well, that was the original person I thought was the target. She's sort of like the Barbie doll. This sort of like somebody that somebody would be fixated on, right? I mean.
Yeah, and having sisters and knowing girls throughout my life, I know that one kind of influences over the other. And just from what I've been seeing on the news, and I might be speculating, I do believe that in the relationship between Maddie and Kaylee, this is just my speculation, I do believe in between the relationship between Maddie and Kaylee, I do believe Maddie was more sort of the troublemaker. I don't want to paint her as a bad person, but I do believe she might have been more of the aggressor as far as starting stuff and whatever. And I'm starting to think that because it happened in Maddie's room, and because it kind of just points more back towards the Maddie. And I'm thinking that everything that you see on the media and everything that you see in you know, online and stuff like that, I think, you know, people might be misconstruing things, and they're saying Kaylee was the target just because of what her father said. And her father might just be speaking from the hip and whatnot. I think that Maddie might have been the target, to be honest with you. I really do. And I think that everything that we're seeing might have nothing to do with anything. And this might be even more confusing than anybody's, you know, guessing at this point. Right. And that Maddie might have been the target, and maybe people are looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got some good thoughts in there. I guess we'll see what the answer is at some point.
Gray, I appreciate you taking the call. I enjoy watching your videos, and thank you very much for taking the call.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. All right. I think that was Rich, right? 208.
Can you hear me, Greg?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hey, how's it going, man? I called in last week. Matt,
how's it going?
Going good, man. Hey, one thing that's really frying my rice a little bit is the interview that Kaylee's dad, I think his name's Steven or Steve, he made a comment, and you could kind of tell his body language was a little bit off, and it's almost like he was hesitating to say it, but then he proceeds to say they didn't have to go upstairs. And so it kind of, but at the same time, he almost is hinting to the fact that Kaylee is the target because of her wounds, and what the coroner said.
All right, but to me, it means that like Ethan. So you could look at it like Ethan was killed first, and Zayna. So he's like, well, he killed them, so why would he need to go upstairs unless, you know, Kaylee was, you know, or Kaylee or Madison was the target, basically. Right. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm leaning towards probably Kaylee or Maddie was the target. It's just there's a few things to consider. Like, if Kaylee was the target, right? There's the missing timeline for Ethan and Zayna that I still have, you know, a ton of questions about, and I feel like that's significant somehow, right? Also, I don't know if this is true. Maybe you can verify it, but apparently she was just visiting back in town because she had bought a new car. She had already potentially moved out and was planning to move to Texas and all this other kind of stuff. So I feel like if that was the case and she was the intended target, then I almost feel like I don't know how many days she was in town for or when she arrived.
Well, like the person would have had to know that she was coming in town.
Yeah, or they ran into him at some point, whether that
she could go out to the bar.
Yeah. So maybe, you know, if because I feel like, you know, there's a possibility that the killer went around to each room until they killed their intended target. That's another possibility. But I guess if there was a target, there's so many different variables that I almost feel like if we actually knew who he was going for, or I guess I could say, if we knew who was killed first, I feel like it would open up the case a bit more, and we'd get a lot more understanding of what really went on. Because there's just so many unanswered questions there, and I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think or what you thought about when he said that. Like, he didn't have to go upstairs, or they didn't have to go upstairs.
Yeah, well, I was talking about that earlier tonight, but it just seems to me, like, to me it could mean that he's saying that Ethan and Zayna were killed first, because, you know, or, you know, there's two different ways to look at it. That he came to the sliding glass door, so he didn't have to go up the stairs. He could have just killed Ethan and Zayna. But then he went upstairs out of his way to kill them, so she was a target. Or it could be that he knows that Ethan and Zayna were killed first, so why did he need to go upstairs?
Yeah.
You know? So it's like there's two different things there. I think what he's really just saying is his daughter's either way is out of the way and you know, was the target, so the killer didn't have to go up there, but they did, so obviously they went up there to to kill the two girls upstairs, or maybe one of them, and the other one just happened to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the girls was probably the intended target. Man, it's so hard for me though. I'm still leaning towards. I really don't think it's somebody in their immediate group. I don't even think the guy necessarily needs to know the layout of the house. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you could just make your way around and look and check different doors and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If they were in and out quickly, it seems like they would kind of know it, because, I mean, even though it's convolutedly built, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a maze or anything like that. I could go in there right now and know exactly how to get around. Well, it's probably because I have the model here, but, you know, I think if you just walked in there, you'd see, okay, there's stairs, that goes upstairs, and then you just look around. So it's not, my feeling is though it's somebody that does know the house and they might even recognize the people in there. I think it's, although you'd think there'd be an arrest quickly if it was something like that, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like that's another thing too. I don't think the cops have much, unfortunately. I think it's going cold, and I think it's partly, like, I don't know, just the I don't know, the main sheriff or whatever. He's got the white goatee. Every time I look at that guy, and this is just me being judgy, so no disrespect to the cops, but I want to respect law enforcement. But and I know they're just trying to do their job. But like, every time I look at the guy, the guy looks like he doesn't know. He's in way over his head, and it doesn't seem like they have much. But I could totally be wrong. So, but I feel like if they had a really solid lead on someone, they would be either detaining them as much as they can. Like, they would be doing everything in their power to get that guy off the streets as soon as possible, if they had any solid evidence against anyone, right?
Well, it sounds like the fact that they're still looking for the white Elantra, maybe getting some clues, or they think that's the person, and they haven't made an arrest, that means that that sort of points to them not having really much of anything at this point. Like I said before, they've got to have DNA from the killer. They should just do forensic genetic genealogy from the very first moment, get the sequence, send it over to bioinformatics, who formats it, upload it to GEDmatch, and then let the best genealogists work on it. Boom, boom, boom. You'll have a name, and then you can go after that person. So hopefully they do something like that, because the thing is that's the best technique today, is to, if you have DNA, yes, have the other detectives do all the stuff that they were doing, but just spend the money. It's cheaper even. I mean, like, for $7,000 or $8,000, you get the answer to who the killer is and who left their DNA there if you have it. So when they do all this other stuff and they're having all these people do these kinds of things, just get moving on that right away. And that is, gosh, I mean, that's probably like 20 officers working a certain amount of hours, and that's already covered. I mean, they got $1 million to this case. So 8,000 is just a drop in a bucket to those guys. Yeah.
Do you know how long they waited before they started running the DNA tests, and how long does that generally take? Like 4 to 5 weeks to get getting results back? Or?
Well, no, we were just talking the other day. If you fast track everything and you're the priority, like, hey, drop everything, sequence this. Okay, you also drop everything. We're going to send this. There isn't any crazy processing or anything, because it's just, here's a blood sample or semen or whatever it is, and I think they were saying like 2 to 3 days they could have it already uploaded to GEDmatch, which is the database that the genealogists use. It comes up with your closest matches, then you start building out the tree, and then eventually you end up with the family members and relatives have uploaded to any of the services in GEDmatch, you'll get answers. I mean, it's it really works, and it's crazy because that kind of thing would work very quickly if you had a lab set up just for that. Dropping everything, this is what we're doing, and you could have a name in a week. It might take months though too, because sometimes there isn't a close relative, and it's a long process.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard a few people mention like using Ancestry.com or like some of those DNA testing places too.
Well, they don't do that though. But like, so there's Ancestry and 23andMe. You can everybody can use those. You spit into a container and you send it off, and then they put your relatives and everything up there. But then there's also this raw data kit that you have to download, and then you upload it to GEDmatch. Okay. However, there's a company out there that can bypass the spitting part and can just take a sequence and put it into the format that GEDmatch takes from a DNA sample, and then boom, it gets loaded in there. And there's only 1.5 million people that have uploaded it to GEDmatch, which seems to be enough. And there's also another one called Ancestry DNA. Ancestry DNA, I think. The other one.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you'd think that they would have already thought about that, but if they haven't, it just gives me, makes me have more questions about like, what the heck's going on at the police department over there. I mean, I know they got help from the FBI and stuff. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know if there's much with this white Elantra. And I'm still, I've been watching every night and researching it more, and obviously we haven't gotten much in the last like week and a half as far as like evidence drips or whatever you want to call it. But I just, the thought of the college student doing this is just out of this world to me. And I think when you talk about how he probably ran into Ethan, like he didn't intend to kill anyone but maybe one target, but then there was just collateral damage or whatever you want to call it because of the fact that he was trying to get out but then ran into Ethan and then had to fight Ethan, and then Zena was there, so he ended up killing Zena. I think that would probably explain how potentially a first-time killer could do something this atrocious. But again, I think it's a guy that's maybe done something like this before, or has taken that out on animals, or I don't know. And
right. Well, I mean, it could be, but we don't really know. I mean, the animal thing they say aren't connected. They can't find any links to it, but you never know.
Yeah. That's what they say.
So. All right.
And another thing too.
I got other callers. You got another. Is this a quick point here? Or?
Yeah, it was just about the roommates being drunk and not hearing screams or whatever. If the screams were like very momentary, like just a couple of seconds. I mean, I've had plenty of nights drunk, even blackout drunk sometimes. Unfortunately, when I was younger, but I mean, I'd be out cold, and like my girlfriend would make loud noises, clean the dishes, do whatever, like stomp around the house, whatever, and I wouldn't hear a thing, wouldn't wake up. So, and I'm actually a pretty light sleeper when I don't drink. So, I just think all the girls went out partying that night. They were all pretty intoxicated. And they were probably just out, they were probably just heavily sleeping, and the guy was able to take advantage of that and sneak up on him and do what he did, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. But anyways, good thoughts, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. Have a great night.
You too. All right. Bye-bye. All right, you guys. Is it because of the phone calls, or is it like the reading mode? Because this is like, with 1,600 and something people watching. It's turned into, again, almost one of the worst nights we've had in 6 months. All right. So if anybody out there would like to help support the channel, and thus at the end of the month or during the month, I think we've already sent in 2,500 this month so far to various charities out of the income. What's going on though, you guys? I don't understand. Let's see. Well, Gray, they get so mesmerized by the call-in that they forget that there's a channel to support here. Oh, I see. All right, let's get this one. 561, you're on.
Hi there, Gray. I appreciate your work.
Hey, thanks. Who's this? You got to turn off the audio.
What's that?
You got to turn off the audio there.
Okay, it's off. I just wanted to say that I've always been on the roommate theory, and I can't get off the fact that from 3 o'clock until noon that day, there was no accountability for anything in that house. So if there weren't any cameras outside, anyone could come or go in that house until noon the next day. The girls didn't even have to be in that house that night, theoretically. What do you think about that?
What do you mean the girls didn't have to be? What do you mean?
The roommates, they don't even have to be in that house, theoretically, that night. There's no accountability from 3 in the morning until 12 noon.
Well, when you say they didn't have to be there, I'm not really sure what you're saying.
They could have left with somebody. They don't even have to be in that house that night. They could have set this up with somebody or for someone.
Yeah, no. The roommates have nothing to do with anything. Okay, but they're not part of the murders. I know that Cindy J up there was like, "Yeah, this is what I believe in." A little bit of a conspiratorial nutter, but there definitely isn't. The roommates have nothing to do with the murders. All right.
But how can you explain that nobody would be in there without a trace? It's got to be somebody.
What does it have to do with
house that night?
No, it doesn't. It means that everybody was sleeping at 3-something in the morning, and the other ones may have heard something and then locked their doors, and then they got up in the morning and kind of. God, what was going on last night? And they come up and then they see him on the ground. I don't know where. See, it's people's minds like yours and others. I don't really know where they go off on these wild, imaginative stories in their minds. What would make those girls? Why would those girls want to kill any of those people?
Can I ask you another question?
Well, did you answer that one? Why can you give me any hint of anything from anywhere out there at all that those girls didn't like the ones that were everybody that was killed? Do you have any?
I don't know, but
okay.
But what percentage of guilty parties have their friends involved in a 911 call that don't tell the 911 operator exactly what happened in the house?
Because they're not even the ones that called 911. You know, they were probably in shock, and then the friends that came over used their phones to call 911.
So from 3 a.m. till 12 noon, no one sees any part of this scene, and no one reports it to 911 themselves. How?
Yeah. So, what do you mean how? That's just when the call was made. I don't know. Your questions are really weird. You know, they're sort of like just sort of.
If there were
oh my God, how could it possibly be? I've explained it like literally 100 times on the show. You know.
If there's 4 people murdered in a house,
and
you're in the house, not a separate apartment, in the house.
Yeah.
How can you not come across that scene until noon?
Well, let's say you go to bed at.
Not one.
It was like because let's say you're in college, people sleep in, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you ever do that? Like you're drunk because you were out the night before. Maybe they were up kind of late, hearing noises and stuff, and eventually they fell asleep, and then just sort of woke up at. I would say for certain that they were up quite a bit before the 911 call, and one of them went upstairs and could see that one of them was kind of passed out and maybe even blood, but not waking up. So then they text all her friends because they were kind of like, I don't know, man. I want to call the police and stuff because I mean, who knows? So then all the friends come over and they sort of tell them, oh, God, we heard noises last night and we heard this and we heard that. And, we locked our doors, but we thought maybe there's just people having fun. But now we're kind of. So then, the friends go up there and they see really what happened. Oh, my God, these people are dead. So when they call the 911 operator, they say, well, the roommates here said that they saw somebody passed out upstairs. Can you guys send somebody over? But it looks like this and it looks like that. And they probably said a lot of the stuff that they were told. I know it doesn't fit everybody's sort of like, this is what I would do. Therefore, they're part of the killing. I guarantee you that the roommates have nothing to do with the murders, despite what Cindy and you seem to think. The only two people in the world that literally think that. I just think it's pure insanity.
Well, if you go by the facts of the case, these
I just
four were
did
supposed
the
to be-
facts of the case, but I interpreted them differently than you did.
They were supposed to be sleeping. So how could someone see an unconscious person?
Well,
Tell me.
Well, you just open your eyes and you can see an unconscious person.
You
You,
can't
you
see
look
the
at them
blood
over
and
there.
everything.
You look at
That's
somebody
fucking-
when you say, "How can somebody see an unconscious person?" I'm saying they open their eyes and they look and they they probably said to the guy like, "Hey, Ethan," and he wasn't moving, and they kept yelling and they're like, "Oh shit," you know.
There wasn't blood everywhere. They see this, Ethan.
I'm sure there was probably blood. If he was in the hallway, there's got to be blood sitting around. They just didn't act the way you wanted them to. Therefore, the girls are the killers. That's what you think. Yeah.
Where do you get that he was in the hallway?
Well, there's people out there that say that, he wasn't. Not all of them were in their beds when they were found. So I'm just guessing maybe he's the one. But who knows? Maybe it's Zaina or.
Maybe it's
Because the other two girls
Haley
were
didn't-
found in their beds, they've said. Or it hasn't... I think Steve has said that. Now, the other two, we don't know if they were in the bed where they were found. They were just apparently while... originally, they said they were attacked while sleeping, but then she adjusted it to say most of them were attacked while sleeping. Whatever that means.
Okay, so you don't think it's anybody that's involved in the house. So wouldn't there be dire warnings of a super skilled, extremely high risk taking serial killer on the loose in town every day, every night?
Huh?
Wouldn't the police be warning a lot more differently than they are now after 37 days of not
Well,
figuring
that's
out?
probably what Steve was bitching about when he said that, because he thinks they're protecting the school. I mean, if you're trying to get your students to come back to school and be in classes, and that's all you're really caring about is the money part of it, you might not say, "Hey, everybody, there's a serial coming." Running around, but make sure to get to your classes at 8 p.m. They're starting fresh this week. I mean, come on, that so that might explain that.
And then the last thing I'll ask you. These people want to say that this girl Kaylee was the target. She wasn't even supposed to be there that weekend. That's from her family. They said it was a last chance.
Yeah, except we already kind of explained that she did go out to bars that night. Maybe somebody's like, "Oh my God, you're back." Oh gee, so we don't know. When you say she's targeted, I'm sure there's people out there that have communication with her and might know where she's going to be, and she's going to be coming into town, or when she comes into town, a certain set of friends might know that she's back in town, and da 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 da. There's lots of reasons. So when you act so incredulous about it, it doesn't really work. It's
Well,
makes sense.
wouldn't the killer be targeting at her where she lives instead of a chance meeting on the weekend? I mean, would he changed all of his plans to fit this house now?
Well, maybe something angered him, and maybe there was some unsettled business. I mean, we don't really know. Remember, he did say Adam. What did you say to Adam? I told him everything. Well, maybe there was something in that. We don't really know. I mean, that's the only thing that's even remotely possibly a clue to something else going on that maybe somebody would be upset about. That's it.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm of the camp that someone in that house that has free access from 3 a.m. till 12 noon the next day did these killings. I'll never go off it, no matter what.
Well, yeah, but that's
even if
of course
I'm
that
not
is.
the killer.
Well, of course
I
it is.
won't
That's
go
what
get
we've all said. The same thing. It's just not going to be the roommates, is what I'm saying. We all think that somebody had free access to the house, and they were in there. because that was like a party house. I mean, even that video that came out from September, it was like all these people in the house, and there was only like one roommate there, and there's tons of people, and the cops even said, "We know this is a sorority party house." Okay, they already knew that,
Great.
so people would just go in there.
I think that Labor Day party was like it was every day, where people are loitering around the house and hanging around the house.
No, I didn't say it was the same, but people have access. They could just get into the house. People know how to get into that house. It's a party house. So somebody that
at 3:30 in the morning,
somebody that has nefarious intentions could find a way to get inside the house.
Okay, well, I thank you for listening to me.
I'm just saying, I'm not sure what you're sort of like
I'm
really
just
weak
telling you,
arguments.
There's no way that it can be done by someone that comes into the house, a serial killer or anybody, at 3:30 in the morning and take that extreme high risk of going in someone's house while they're sleeping. I mean, my best friends wouldn't even do that at my house. I don't see anyone.
I would hope your best friends wouldn't do that at your house. That'd be shitty. They wouldn't be very good best friends, I tell you. Anyways, I gotta get moving on to the next call. But hey, man, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. All right, let's see. What's the next one here? 912, you're on.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just had a comment on your theory about maybe the killer meeting Ethan in the hallway. I was just thinking if that happened, maybe the struggle might have been much more intense because he just had a knife. So maybe he got him in the bed and maybe pulled him out there. I do like your theory, by the way. I just was kind of thinking about that point.
Yeah, I don't really know for certain if Ethan and Zena were first, but who knows how that all went out, how that played out. Right.
And two more comments, just real quick. The Elantra to me kind of looks like a grandmother's car or an older person's car, and like one of the fathers said, maybe he took it. And just the other thing I wanted to say is that knife that they say he had, I find that to be a very extreme knife. And when I see gentlemen that have that knife, they always show it to you, and they have more knives. I just think if, like the Delphi case, how that guy was hiding in plain sight, I think it's similar to that with this, where we could find him like that through the knife or the car, obviously. But those were kind of the points I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, but what are your overall thoughts of what happened?
My thoughts on this case is I think it's the person that tried to skin the dog, and I don't think he got enough attention for it. And he came in and he planned on killing all 6 people, and he went from the top to the bottom. Simple as that. And the bottom doors were locked. And I have looked into those locks that I saw in the picture of the bottom door, and they do lock automatically. So that's neither really here nor there. That's my theory, though. On that.
What
do you think about that?
It makes like an interesting story to link it up to the dogs. But as soon as I heard that, I was like, I don't know. I know it's right there and everything. It just feels, if there's this little serial killer killing dogs right in the neighborhood there, it seems like they'd already have a name and be right on top of that person.
Well, they said that was not connected, and I don't understand how they could know that unless they solved it. And I looked into that. I didn't see that it was solved.
Well, it wasn't solved. They just said that they couldn't find a connection to it. That's what they said.
Right. Yeah, you're right. But I thought it was the way that he skinned it. I thought he was trying to show his skills. And I always look at the internet, etc. I never saw that article until these murders. Then I saw about the dogs. So that's why I was putting that. You're right, though. You're really smart on that. I'm saying it's so close that's a little odd. But that is usually how they work. They test out their skills usually.
Yeah, but the thing is about the there's people that think that like the last caller that the roommates had something to do with it. How did they do it? Did they get somebody else to come in? Or they were like, "Oh, I don't like my roommates, Joe. Come over and kill them all." It just doesn't make any sense to me. They seem like they all loved each other. They did, they got the tattoos even. Oh, that was just to throw people off, Gray. That was, I don't know.
Well, the victimology, I love the Delphi case. I've studied that since day one, and the victimology of those girls would be so little of who could get to them. But this victimology is literally anyone. So I really, truly think this case is going to take a long time until they get a little thing like a snitch or someone acting different or some odd thing like how the Delphi case unfolded, you know.
Right.
So something like that will bring this justice, if you will.
I hope so. All right. Well, hey, good thoughts there. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. I really like calling your show. Thanks for taking it. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. Yep, you too.
Thank you.
All right. Patsy Cline, listen, we're not Karens in here, okay? I mean, you're a really good singer and everything, but we don't care. You're like little comments like, "Oh, got a white car, the one that a granny drives." It's just that doesn't have to be offensive to anybody, you know. It's just is what it is, okay? You know, that's just it's okay to goof around. Now, you don't, you know, if you say anything that's racist or anything like that, you know, forget it. You're out of here, right? That's how it works. But we don't all have to be complaining about stuff. Now, let's see. They called friends over to help unlock them. Hard to push open. How come that comment was removed by somebody? I guess you have to type in you think that, but yeah, that kind of makes some sense. But if Ethan's body was blocking the door, how would that have happened, Medicine Designs? That doesn't make any sense, because how would the killer got into Zaina's room if his body's blocking the door? So if he killed Ethan first and Ethan's on the ground, how did he open the door to get Zaina? And then also, if he killed Zaina first, what was Ethan doing? You know, it's like he was out in the hall and then he came running back again. I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, 925. And by the way, why are just guys calling tonight? 925. You gotta unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, there's a female. Thanks.
There we go. Hi, it's Christy Kazi. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. So I just had something to say about, you know, the roommates, because it seems like there's just some people that can't understand they're not the killers. You know, I understand that, you know, I had typed into chat when, you know, a couple of days ago when I saw that other video that I thought that bottom room was empty, but I just wanted to clarify, it's not like I think the roommate is the killer or something, you know?
Yeah, well, it wasn't really empty either. When you look at it, there was golf clubs, and we can't really see where the bed is or anything. And there could have actually
you can see the bed?
Well, just
Sorry, go ahead, Gray.
Yeah, I mean, it's just barely, you know, just a little sliver open, and the camera goes by, and you see some stuff in there.
Well, I mean, I have a theory, but it's a theory, it's speculation, what have you. But, I mean, you know, there's one extra bedroom in the house, so, you know, I know, I don't want this to sound victim blaming. It's not. It's not. This is just facts of life about how people behave in college. You know, there's an extra bedroom in a place that has parties all the time. Maybe that room was usually used for the hookup room. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that's just the case, and maybe that night that, you know, Dylan was, or one of whichever the surviving roommates was sleeping down in that room because she had company or something. You know, I mean, there could be a lot of
or because it was September 1st and eventually there was a more permanent residency was taken up in that room instead of
right.
Maybe,
I'm just saying there's a lot of explanations how, you know, yeah. But I'm just saying to like assume that this lady is a part of the killing because of that. That's not a good conclusion. I just wanted to say that I don't think anybody should.
I just think it's insane in general because now if one of them was the killer, you would say, well, gosh, how would a sort of a smaller female kill 4 people, including a large male athlete type guy? All right. But then you have to go, okay, well, then they got somebody else to do it. Oh, really? Wow. Then you're on this weird thing where
goose chase.
They just didn't like the roommate, so they got this other guy. That just makes no sense. And both roommates? So both roommates conspired to... It's complete lunacy to me, and police have said they are not suspects. All right?
Right. Not only they said they're not suspects, but if you really hated your roommate that much, you're not taking a picture with them on the patio like a couple hours before you're going to do this. It's not happening. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to state that because I know some people are like, oh, because the room looked empty, but I just think it's the wrong thing. Whether it was empty or it was not empty, it doesn't mean it was occupied on that night. And so I don't think anybody can make those conclusions. I just heard a lot of people making conclusions just from that screenshot. I don't think that's what people should take away from that,
Mm-hmm.
It's just my opinion. But, and the other thing is that with the DNA, also, we talked about it before, but, what are your thoughts about maybe they're having trouble with the DNA because the killer had many reasons to be in that house previously, and unless they actually unless the killer did cut himself or drop hair in the wound or somewhere where it couldn't have been unless he was the killer, I mean, his DNA on the door handle, who cares? Like 1,000 people were in the house,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it might be hard.
The source of the DNA is always really important in terms of how it points to somebody. Skin under the fingernails, semen, blood sample, or like even I guess you could have touch DNA in a place that doesn't make sense, like if there was a sexual assault on somebody's belt or something that you would have had to touch to take off. But usually, the other stuff is explainable. When you have party houses, you could have a DNA from a guy from China if they flew into town for a basketball game, went into a bathroom and grabbed the door, then you grabbed the door, and then you scratched your shoulder and put the DNA on your shoulder, and then that person flew back home, then you went back to your dorm room and then you got killed, and then they swab your jacket, and then on your shoulder is some DNA from some guy that lived in China. That's how crazy touch DNA is. That really works like that.
Right, absolutely. So that's why I say when everybody's like, okay, DNA, it might, but it might take, that's what I was talking to you about before, is that the actual running of the test doesn't take long, but sometimes the analysis does, because you got to decide, okay, is this important or not, right? And if, Bill, John, Joe's DNA, whoever, right, is there, does it mean anything? It means something if it's in the wound tract. It means something if, there's hair from the forearm and the killer, held one of the person's hair with one hand while they used the knife in the other. I mean, like you're saying, if it's in a significant place that's not explainable. So it might take a while, and I think people expect that it's
Well, I think they must have DNA, because they remember they were saying, oh, it was sloppy. That's about the only reason you would say that.
Yeah.
There's got to be DNA sitting around. They got it. I'm just wondering what they're doing with it.
Well, exactly. I mean, and here's the only thing that worries me is that they are a small police station, and before the FBI got involved in this, it's even the crime scene several days after got expanded, right? I don't know the significance or not, but I'm hoping, because as blood ages, as these things age, they degrade, and so it's fresh. I mean, we have great techniques compared to because we can solve cold cases now. But I'm just saying that sometimes the more people that enter a scene can contaminate a scene, even if they have shoe covers, even if they, what I mean? Every time you go in a place, you leave something of yourself behind. So it's going to have to take a little bit of time for them to sort through that. And so the only other thing I wanted to say, I think that the reason the police are making that statement, that Adam's cooperating, and that they haven't said they haven't said they've cleared him. And even if they've cleared somebody, maybe they're just saying that. I mean, police do lie if it's to catch a killer,
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this. My whole thing with the Adam.
Well, they didn't really say they they cleared him. They literally just said that they are, like something. What did they say? Just that they know who he is and he's cooperating. Yeah. Okay, that doesn't mean that they cleared him of anything. So.
No, I mean, I think that part was significant. Like, I think that the reason they said it that way is because there's something to it. Because when you see that extra video that has the sound about what did you tell Adam, you know, if you're just going to go on what common sense is, it seems like that common sense dictates that, you know, Kaylee and Jack were on a break. Whether that break was, like, permanent, whether that break was not permanent. Yeah. And so maybe in that break period, you know, there was somebody else, whatever, and then, you know, Maddie told Adam, and then she didn't want Adam to tell Jack. Like, that seems the reasonable, you know, she was constantly checking her phone at the food truck. Maybe she thought Adam texted Jack and told him, and she wanted to tell him.
I think makes more sense to me. I mean, that makes sense, but what makes more sense is that Adam reacted in a way that wasn't good after Madison told him, and then treated Kaylee differently. And then when she was walking back, she said, "What did you tell Adam?" And then I told him everything. And then she's probably in her mind, or what, we can't hear it, but went, "Oh, that's why he treated me like that." Or maybe like, "Why'd you do that?"
Right, maybe he was mad on behalf of his friend.
Well, maybe, right? but could be something that, or, you know, maybe there's something else related to him. But yeah, that makes the most sense, is that he reacted in a way where she responded by, Kaylee said that when she left, and then Madison said, "Oh, I told him everything." But then, maybe he said something to somebody later, but it might not, like, you know, Ryan said earlier, it might not be related to anything, except that's the only thing out there, and it's kind of ironic that's on that one piece of footage. That's the only time the camera would be able to pick up anything. So it's just like right at that moment we get to hear this statement that does seem to make you want to know what in the hell Adam was told and what significance that has.
Absolutely. And then the only reason I'm tying it to that is because then they go back home and they repeatedly call him. Now, girls only do that when they're upset, they're trying to clarify, the person doesn't want to take their call, and they're going, "Oh my God, I got to tell him." And you go, "Come on, we have a dog together, you got to talk to me." And then Maddie goes, "Okay, he's blocking your calls, let me try." You know, like, that's the logic that's, you know, going through my mind is, you know, Adam told Jack, like, maybe Kaylee was seeing somebody, and she's like, "How could you tell Adam that?" Now Jack's going to know. And maybe she didn't want Jack to know. And maybe the family's a little bit off. Maybe they weren't going to get back together, and he couldn't let it go.
Well, I don't know, but it seems like it. Like it seems like every time we talk, we have to always say maybe this and maybe that. Wouldn't it be great?
Right.
Wouldn't it be cool to have the like actual information? I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, what we're trying to figure out is what makes sense given what we do know. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that, you know, I think it is significant because of the way the police said it. I agree with you. And it does follow logic that, you know, if something happened while you're on a break, you don't want your boyfriend, if you are considering getting back together with him, whatever, you don't want him to misunderstand or whatever from third source.
Well, it's almost like he's saying, it's like he's saying that he's cooperating. He's telling us what that was about. You know, what he was told, you know, and he's helping. So what is he helping with, though? You know, see, that's the thing.
Well, yeah, and so whoever he texted or conversed with, that the police might think, oh, maybe this little incident, there's some nugget around there, you know. And I mean, unfortunately, something like 90% of, you know, the people who are killed is somebody that is in their family.
It could be a completely other guy too. It could be some other person that Adam knows, and maybe Kaylee saw somebody else after breaking up with, and that didn't really work out well or something. But why would Madison be? So you got to think of something. What would be something that Madison would want to tell Jack everything? Like, what type of a topic would that be? Why would she think?
Well, that's what I mean. Maybe Maddie was drunk and just running her lips to Adam, like, "Hey, did you know Kaylee seen this guy?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, that's where we get back down that rabbit hole speculation, like you said. But it just seems like maybe Maddie was a little loose-lipped with Adam, and that Kaylee was afraid of who he was going to tell that information to, and was like, oh, my God, I can't believe you told him everything. So I think there is something around that. We'll have to see, you know, where that points back to. But I just wanted to, like, you know, put in those 2 cents about the DNA and the fact that even if that room was empty, that doesn't mean that the roommate was involved, because that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I just, you know, I wanted to kind of throw that out there, and thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling in.
All right. Well, I'll keep watching the rest of the show, and have a good evening, and thanks for always, you know, you always do a great job.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good
All
night.
right. Good night, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and thanks earlier. I think I missed a lot of these things, but like Joey, let's see. Yeah, the Joey who called in. Also, Calamity Jane, Doohickey, Debbie, Cynthia Sanchez, Christy Quasi, Calamity Jade again, and Sue Ellen from Paris. Thank you. All right, let me get these. 313, you're on. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Not too bad. What's going on? Who's this?
My name's Jay.
All right.
This is my thing. You think Maddie left, like, to go to her parents' house to get the brand new car, and then the roommates had the locks changed on her, and then when she came back, she was surprised that the locks were changed?
No. Where did that come into the story? Like, what made you think that?
Because, like, it's kind of weird that maybe she left, the normal locks were on the door, and then the one roommate called her father and told him to come to Idaho to come change the locks. And then I seen a YouTuber today.
I think that was Zaina. Zaina, just her room was, I guess her lock was just broken or something, and her dad was fixing it.
Oh, it was Xavier. Oh.
Who are you talking to? Forget it, man. I gotta get out of here. I don't know anything about it. I don't know who this guy is. And Jesus. I don't know what the hell what he was talking about. He was just kind of mumbling on and saying stuff in the background. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not even going to wait to listen to that. You know, forget it. Forget it, man. Jesus. Whew. Wow. All right. Anyways, I think that's going to do it, you guys. 3 hours. That was the last caller. Yeah, it was interesting. Good calls tonight. Most of them. You know, the later it gets, the crazier it gets sometimes. But just the way it is. All right. So, thank you to, let's see, Miss Angels, this account, Brenda, Sarah Osborne, Delva Johnson, Mag, and also Robert McMullen on PayPal. Thank you guys very much. Now I have to go to the website over here. And, we're just gonna we'll just give out like a wow mug tonight. All right, let's see. Let me get that. Thanks to Kubi, Sarita, Cheryl Bullock, Colleen Daly Page, Kathy Friedmaker, Rhea Mazzarone, Denise Patrick, Holly Rose, Richard, Allie79, Philly Sport 820, Lisa Murphy, Philly Sport 820 again, thank you, Tosh, KT Recovers, Scott Holland, Mrs. Matt Murphy, The Crime Net, Eugenie, Shan Dalton, Billy Juliana, Dawn, Marlene, Persephone's Pomegranate, Garden Girl 9, Cat Aussie Girl, Annie T, 8675309, The True Crime Nut, Dreaming of Blue Skies. I thought I saw 8765339 written out earlier today. Dreaming of Blue Skies, and never can read the last part. Little Bit, Nomad Beads, Michelle Sikora Griggs, Zozo, Kathleen Canick, Betty Fremont, Shan Dalton, Doohickey, Nancy Schmidt, Philly Sport 820, The Joey, G88, Calamity Jade, Doohickey, Debbie L, Cynthia Sanchez, Christy Quasi, Calamity Jade, and Sue Ellen from Paris. Thank you. Alright, what was it? Other callers either sounded different somehow. I don't know, he started whispering stuff in the background. Like, I don't know what he was doing. No idea what he was doing. Yeah, I hope you guys like the show. Let's see. Alright, we're gonna do a spin for a Wow Just Wow mug. And if I had notebooks, I would only do a notebook. Alright, so yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting tonight. I mean, there's little pieces of information that come in from various places that make you think that Ethan was killed first, and that the roommates have a lot more information that they have and have given to law enforcement. Okay, that's what it seems like. So who knows? All right, anyways, let me shuffle here. Here comes the spin for the Wow Just Wow mug. Oh, did she ask a question? I'll read it here in a second. Look at that. The Joey won that. That's pretty cool. All right. The Joey, you won the Wow Just Wow mug. You'll have to send me an email with your address in it. All right, just a second. Here, let me read through some of these. Hold on a second. All right, let me read through some of these ones. Oh yeah, Calamity Jade said, "By now, can't they isolate killer's DNA?" I think we kind of talked about that. The gender and all that shit's irrelevant. I mean, you could get that really quickly, I would imagine, but why not just go straight to genetic genealogy right away, right? You know, they have this thing called Parabon Nanolabs has the it's called phenotyping, where they take your DNA and they come back with what you would likely look like, right? Hey, Patsy Klein, why are you guys still talking about those, like a stupid comment about like a vehicle? Hey, I'm glad that you know, ride a different one, you know. It's just not that big a deal. It's, you know, it's not, I don't know. I mean, people in here, I wear, what are these called again? New Balance shoes. Okay? And people go, oh, that's what middle-aged people wear, those New Balance. But I don't go, oh, that's so mean. I also have a pair of Nikes too. Does that make me? Just don't worry about it, okay? It's not a big deal. It's not really. Somebody just said, do you have white cars? Those little white cars are the ones the old people drive. You know, it's not really. Is that really offensive, honestly? Are we that triggered as a society that something like that is something that really bothers you? Why not just go, yeah, maybe the typical one, but man, I've got a Corvette. Woo! Yes. That's what I'm saying. But my feelings were hurt when they said that only old middle-aged people wear New Balance shoes. Yeah, that's what I heard. So Kelsey is the one that would say that, and she went and bought a pair of New Balance recently. What do you think of that? You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Barbie doll. What was wrong with the Barbie? You don't think she looked like a Barbie doll? You don't think Madison looked sort of like a Barbie doll? Like she's sort of the one, like, at a party that the guys would be kind of, you know. I mean, Kaylee was pretty too. All of them were good-looking people. Yeah. Anyway, so the rest of it said, and render a composite likeness. That's the Parabon Nanolabs, yeah. And the roommates were asleep. This is by Cynthia Sanchez. The roommates were asleep. That is how they went to bed late, maybe drunk, and besides, have you seen how teens sleep? Deep sleepers for hours. Then Doohickey said, more money to celebrate my last day of work for the year. Well, thank you. Calamity Jade said, at this point, can't they isolate kill? Oh, you typed it in twice. Oh, sorry. And how gender, yeah. I guess you might have maybe did it again. I don't know. It's hard to take questions when you're, you know, you're middle of a call and then the super chat goes way up there or something. No, nobody's ever said that, Emily. Yeah, not one person. Let's see. Any other longer ones? Let's see. Gray, did you go through the chat on that stupid report? There were many people telling them how bad he was and telling them how great. Oh, that's cool. Gray, did you see the Captain Howdy video called out some wacko paranormal group using a spirit box? And yeah, he does a lot of stuff I talk about. He does. Yeah, I've noticed he do a show on him or something. Yeah. Let's see. Merry Christmas Freaks. Give it up for Hughesy, Kubi said. Okay, so I think that's about it in there. So yeah. Calamity Jade, are you still out there? We got to your question. Yeah, but why not go... See, that's the thing with Parabon, right? They have this thing called phenotyping, and they have genetic genealogy. Why would you even bother... I guess you could do both if they made it a package deal. But it just goes straight to... Because phenotyping costs a lot of money. All right? It costs a lot of money to do phenotyping, so why not just go straight to the genetic genealogy portion? You just go right there, and you're right on the track. Now, if it's somebody... the phenotyping might help because it might give you a clue on how easy the genetic genealogy might be, because it tells you the ethnicity and background and so forth. Hey, Patsy Cline, have you been working on the new song or not? It's just... I know, you guys are just talking. I know. A sketch of the public is what I was thinking. Well, they're not really that accurate, though. They seem like they have this... They can give you the right eye color and freckle count and skin tone often and hair color and that kind of thing. And they also do have facial features a little bit now. Except if you got hit in the head with a baseball bat with a kid and you lost an ear and one of your eye sockets was smashed in, it wouldn't show up on there. Your DNA doesn't change with the injuries that you get. Well, that'd be cool if it did that, though. Yeah. That would be cool, I gotta tell you. Yeah. Yep, almost at 97. I just kind of I move slowly. I mean, if I put out videos, it goes up a little bit quicker, but I don't know. I might put out something with this new model tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah. So they were attacked while sleeping, and they think, and some were found in beds, right? So how was one sleeping on the floor, or one must have woken up and was found somewhere else? So maybe it's possible that Ethan was attacked while he was in the room first, and he may have just sort of been struggling, and then he killed Zaina. But man, wouldn't you make sure that they're completely out of it and dead before you moved on to the next room? I mean, that's something we haven't really talked about. People don't just generally die right away from knife stuff, like right away. So it's like the person would have made sure that they weren't alive before moving somewhere else and then checking to see if there's anybody that's woken. Yeah, I hope so. I'm not expecting to get to 100,000 until like mid-January or end of January or something like that. If that. You know, it's hard. You know, there's just lately it's been moving quicker because people have been interested in some of the cases, but I'm not willing to put out like 3 or 4 videos a day and on the same case. It's hard to do that. It makes me feel weird. I'll do a show, and like I've tried to mix in some other cases here and there recently, but yeah, you gotta watch those ones, Calamity Jade. They're crazy. Yeah, usually. But I noticed that, like when I put out those videos, the animations, shouldn't those have like 100,000 views on them, or 200? I mean, honest to God, like it literally shows walking around and how it would be inside the house, and they don't. They get like 40 or 35 or something, and you just sort of wonder, like, how come that didn't make it to a point where somebody wants to watch it over a stupid, ooh, you know what it is? It's my thumbnail, right? I need to come up with these thumbnails with arrows. I'm trying to put the arrows in there, but it sort of feels dumb. Like, why do I need an arrow? I mean, I remember I've sent Zozo screenshots before with an arrow, and she goes, why'd you put the arrow on there? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, why put the arrow there? Yeah, they get likes, but they don't get the big views for some reason. It's weird. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys being here, and wish I could have given out more tonight, but just some nights are just the way they are, right? So we will see you guys tomorrow, right? I think that's it. All right. Well, anyways, thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna go eat some popcorn. All right. God, popcorn's good. All right. We'll see you guys later. Until next time, be safe out there. Be well, and I hope you guys don't see some of you have a great Christmas and everything. I'll be on all the way up and through and on Christmas, I'm sure. I always come on. We'll play the Christmas music, hang out, do whatever, you know. All right. See you guys later. Man, where is it? And a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Not even one?
That is a... Not even one.
Crime dissector.
Other than myself.
Like rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector.
I've actually done that, Cynthia Sanchez.
And I'm always gonna be a pup protector.
On all of them.
Fool deflector.
Interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
On his pecker. With all respect, ya. Just remember, I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And
I don't agree with you, Patsy Cline. I don't agree with you.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya.
Why not, Gray? She'll sing if you agree.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody. Talk to you. Patsy Cline said, Gray, no more singing call-ins until you agree with me. That's awesome. That's great. Agree with you on what, though? Okay, what do I need to agree with you on? Go ahead. Tell me what it is. I might be able to cave in. What is it that I need to agree with you on? Go ahead. What is it? To catch the replay. Patsy is extorting Gray. Yeah, no, I just want to know what it is. What am I supposed to agree with? We're going to need her to sing I Fall to Pieces or something. Or what was the other one that you guys wanted her to do? Oh, come on, Jay, you cannot. Jeez. That shouldn't offend a soul. Oh, is she on Rewind? Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. I can't wait for Rewind.
Gosh, Gray, just wait. Wait an hour.
For what? To get an answer to a question? I don't think so.
Gosh, Gray, you're so mean.
That's what they say. That's what they say.